Hello, 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 everybody. It is me, your host in HBIC, Slightly Bitter, here for another season of Reality TV Recap. If you are unfamiliar with our Slightly Bitter channel, we are here to break down all the tea, all the shade, and all the pink lemonade of reality TV. And this time, we are covering the Traitors US Season 3. Tonight, I am joined by an esteemed panel of reality TV fans, and I'm going to introduce each of them to you. Our first panelist, he is a two-time I Love Money alumni. It is Edgar.
Hello, everyone. When it comes to reality television, that's basically the only TV I watch. I have some insight when it comes to the Traitors. I watched almost all the international seasons, not just English speaking. Thank God for knowing 5 languages. And Survivor is my favorite. I always wear this buff. If you ever caught me in I Love Money, I never take it off except to shower, obviously, and to wash it because that's nasty. Fun fact about me is Joseph Abden from Big Brother 24 is my fraternity brother, and that is my boy. And that's it.
Interessante. All right. Thank you so much, Edgar. All right. Next up, she is no stranger to reality TV as she is fresh off the heels of the #1 reality TV series in the country currently. She was player 239 on Beast Games. It is Morgan.
Hello, and thanks for having me. I am Morgan, player 239 on Beast Games, but I am a reality TV fanatic. Love them all, and I am happy to be here, and I'm happy to talk everything Traitors.
Thank you. And last but not least, she is a reality TV superfan in her own right. We've known each other for quite a bit of time, and I'm so happy to have you go from commenter to commentator. It's Sophie.
Hey everyone, hola hola, I'm from Miami. I am a reality TV super fan. I'm also a Dylan super fan. I've been in his comments and fangirling from afar on his Instagram lives for years. I don't even know when was the first time I discovered you, but I've been kind of waiting for the opportunity to sneak in to have something to do with you. So I'm happy to be here. Super fan of the Traitors, super fan of all the people on the season this year. So excited to be here to talk to you guys, and let's do it.
Awesome. All right, so there's a lot to get to because this was a 3-episode premiere, which, if I recall, that's how they did it last time. Or did they only give it? Is that how they did it last time?
Yeah, they did the first 3 last time.
Yeah, I think so too.
It was a lot. I was kind of overwhelmed by all of the information we had, but I think just how the episodes were structured, it really did work out that way, that we had 3 different episodes. So the cast was announced a long time ago. When you guys heard about the cast, were there any standouts to you?
Yeah, I'm a big Housewives girl, so when I saw multiple Housewives, because I think there was multiple last season too, but these that they chose this season are actual legendary Housewives, and I was just super pumped for that. I don't know about you guys. What do you think? And also Survivor players too.
Survivor and Housewives. So I was interested because Robin just got cut from the Housewife of Potomac. So when I saw that she was on Traitors, I was like, oh, Robin is stepping into the reality TV competition world. So I really want to see how she transferred to competition, from Housewives to competition. So I was really excited to see that. And then Rob from Survivor, I was like, whoa, that blew my mind.
Well, I didn't know he was going to be on it until the episode. I guess I missed that when they announced the cast because it was kind of a surprise. So I was so excited when I saw that too.
Yeah. Go ahead, Edgar.
No, I was going to say, I think the only person they didn't announce with the initial cast was somebody that we'll talk about later on. There was 2 people that they add later on that I was like, whoa, I was not aware of that at all. And I think you guys are going to hate me for this one, but the person that I was most interested in seeing in the show was Ivar. Just because he's a British aristocrat.
Really?
He's the cousin of the King of England.
I saw that, but I had no idea who he was.
He kind of got himself into some scandal because he divorced his wife and married a man, so he came out as gay. And you know how star. So
Oh, I didn't.
I was
know
always interested to see how he would do. And then me being a huge Troy Bolton fan, if I see any Efron on
my
any
God, yeah.
screen, I was like, all right, let's go. Like I saw Dylan and I was like, let's do it. It's his time to shine.
This was a very interesting group. The last season of the Traitors, I knew pretty much everyone that was on the cast. Like, I think there was like maybe one or two people. Like, what was the name of that guy? The old English minister guy.
Yeah, I can't remember his name for it.
John.
Yeah,
I didn't
hold
know.
on.
I was like, who the fuck is John? But then I
John,
thought
yeah.
John was funny as shit with his like fake asthma attacks that he was having. But this season, I was pretty unfamiliar. Like I had heard Robin Dixon's name before, I'd heard Chrishell's name, but I was more familiar with the Housewives last time because I watch Atlanta. I don't really watch the other.
Phaedra.
Yeah, exactly. And the only people that I really knew was I knew Bob Harper from Biggest Loser, which was very out of left field. I know obviously all the Big Brother, Survivor, Challenge people. The person I was most excited to watch though was Bob the Drag Queen, because I listened to Bob's podcast that he does with Monet Exchange, and he's like Peppermint's like best friend. So
really?
He was not happy when all that shit went down with Peppermint last season. So
yeah, that was.
I was
nice.
Well, he's redeeming everything that Peppermint kind of.
Yes, he is.
He is.
He really is.
Yeah.
So we start off the game. They all enter in with their nice outfits and such, and instantly they are thrown for a loop when Alan tells them that there's one more person that's coming into the game, and he's a reality TV legend, and it's Boston Rob. So the twist is that Boston Rob could enter the game, but for him to enter, someone else has to go, and you have to shake his hand. So if you guys were in this position, what do you think you would have done?
I would have did what everybody else would have done and just sat on the sideline, because why risk going home so early before the game even started?
That's true.
It was pointless. So for nobody to shake his hand, I felt that. But also, Carolyn was scaring me, you guys. Not even going to sit here and lie, because she was like, I want to do it, but I don't want to do it. Like, I want him in the game, but like she's just a nut, a good nut in a sense. But she scares me. She scared me in Survivor. She was scaring me now. So when she was contemplating, I was really hesitant on like what she would really do.
I'm glad she didn't do it, because I think she's in a really good position right now, especially as a traitor. Because she would have put a target on her back. Like, other people would have been suspicious of her. Yeah. And now she's the most least assuming traitor right now.
Yes.
So.
It was very interesting to hear that she was wanting to do it. I think that I would have contemplated it, just because, there is that fear that someone else might do it and then they could take you out. So if you do shake his hand, you are unleashing Boston Rob in the game, but you're also guaranteeing that someone else won't take you out. So
it kind of reminded me of Big Brother 19. Do you remember when they the whole letting Paul come in? Yeah. It kind of reminded me of that, right? You look at it, and all these people, some of them have existing relationships. So I think if I was one of the ones that had a pre-existing relationship, I would definitely contemplate it. But if I was like, for example, Dylan or Tom, I would have done it just to take out Chrishell, right? Because of their drama and stuff like that.
They didn't do that now.
Ivar doesn't know anyone. So if I was like Ivar, Dylan, I wouldn't touch it. But if I was like Tom or Chrishell or Brittany and Danielle, I would contemplate. I'd be like, this person doesn't like me. I'd rather beat them to the punch.
Yeah. It was very surprising after seeing the relationship between Chrishell and I already forgot his name.
Tom
Sandoval. It was interesting seeing their relationship, that he didn't try to get her out or vice versa.
Mm-hmm. I was shocked by that too. And it was like when he kind of did, later on in the episode what he does, but I mean, like, he was caught red-handed in what he did, so it was like, dude, like you can't really be wrong with that. Like,
so I completely forgot that Tom Sandoval was whatchamacallit. Oh no, Tom is Brittany's ex, right? Or is it Sam?
No, Sam is Brittany's ex. Tom dated the host of Love Island.
Yeah, what
Yes,
Ariana
Maddox.
Maddox,
Yeah.
yeah. I was very surprised when I learned that Sam was the ex of Brittany, because I remember watching the Instagram live of Sam like going ape shit in Brittany's house and destroying everything. Like, did y'all see that?
No.
I didn't see
didn't-
that. I
It's-
heard, I
Sam
saw
who?
clips, but I didn't see the whole lot.
Sam. So if you Google like Britney Spears ex
Oh,
rampaging
yes,
through
yes,
her
yes.
house,
Yes,
that
I
was
have seen
him.
that.
Oh.
And then in
he's
the
crazy.
episode, he's like, he's so blasé.
Well, I hear that he had to sign. He signed like NDAs up the wazoo, so he's not allowed to talk about anything. Like he wasn't even allowed to
Yeah.
say whether or not she watched the Housewives. Did you see that? They asked him if
Oh,
she had
yeah, I
watched
do
the
remember that.
Housewives, and he was like, no comment. So I don't think he's allowed to say anything. So.
So going into the season, there Edgar kind of touched on this already. There's some rivalries already going into it, mostly from the gamers side of things. So the first relationship that's in play is Danielle and Brittany on Big Brother. What's interesting about Danielle and Brittany's relationship is their feud does not stem from Big Brother. It stems from Big Brother Reindeer Games, which have you guys seen that has been taken off of Paramount Plus?
Wait,
Yes.
what?
Oh,
Yeah. So
I
it is
did
no
not see that.
longer Big Brother Over the Top and Reindeer Games are both off of Paramount Plus now. So
Oh man, Reindeer Games was so good.
it was.
I know I loved
That's my
Reindeer.
Christmas pastime now. I know I'm not gonna have it next Christmas.
So, just to catch everyone up to speed on what happened on Reindeer Games, it was like a shortened version of Big Brother where it was only competitions. And Brittany was in a position where she had completed a challenge and she had to send someone else into the challenge. And they only had, I think, like a minute and a half to finish it. If you didn't finish it, you were eliminated. So she could have chosen Taylor, who had volunteered to go into the duel because she knew she could beat it. But she decided to go back on her friendship with Danielle, and she sent Danielle in there. So Danielle had like no time to finish the challenge. So she backstabbed Danielle to go home. How interested were you guys to see what they would be like on the Traitors together?
Okay, I'm not
I
gonna
was
lie, I
interested,
completely
but
forgot.
you forgot.
I
Yeah,
forgot
I
about that whole thing, that whole ordeal. I thought Danielle just like went home because there was no time. Like I don't remember Brittany being the one to pick her. So I was like, huh? Like what is this beef coming from? I had to look back and realize what had happened.
I mean, I was reminded when Danielle was in the car on the way into the castle and she started crying about it. And so I was like, oh, she's like butthurt about it. But then at the same time, I feel like they all saw the look of their cast and they saw, okay, there's not that many people here for Big Brother. I might as well try and like strengthen that connection, stay with it, than try and burn that bridge and have nobody. So
Yeah.
I think that's why we're also seeing, I mean, I'm kind of jumping ahead, but not Danielle not even looking at Brittany as an option to kill as a traitor. So
we saw that with Parvati and Sandra last season too, where they could not go for each other, else it's too obvious.
Right.
Yeah, it's too obvious. And I mean, I feel like they could probably capitalize on the fact that they know each other, they have a history, fix their relationship, and maybe try and work together in the game.
I mean, another relationship that they're not talking that much about is, well, now it's over, but Tony and Jeremy's relationship.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was the
really
one that I
close.
was like, oh, what's going to happen?
Because that was a really bad blindside. Like on Winners at War, Jeremy was on the bottom, but him and Tony had this like cop and firefighter relationship. And then Tony just like slit his throat. And it was so bad that Jeremy didn't even vote for him to win in the end. But it seemed like Jeremy completely threw that out the door. Like Jeremy was like, it's fine.
Yeah, I think with him, it's like game respects game. It was Winners at War. A winner was going to win anyway. Yeah. And I think he even mentioned that. Like I would have done the same thing if I were in his position type of thing. And I don't know. I think that he just respected that. And he probably also thought the same thing. Like, I don't know these Housewives. I don't know the freaking trainer from The Biggest Losers. Like, I know Tony. So let me try and see if I can work with him. You know?
Yeah, he was very cordial about it. So what I like the most is what he does in, episode 3, which we'll talk about. I keep going ahead of me. I'm sorry, I was just like that. But Jeremy was just very like, hey, it's a familiar face. I don't know these other people. Screw what he did. Like he kept mentioning it too. He was like, look, like, this guy broke my heart. Like, he shattered my dreams, and I'm still on his side, bro. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, this is, if I can do it, all of y'all could do it. So I thought that was really nice. He said that too. And I love Joey. This is completely biased. He is one of my favorite Survivor players of all time. So, you know, seeing him on screen and seeing Tony after what happened at Winners at War, I was like, ooh, this is gonna be juicy.
I know.
Very well. Like, he was very cordial about it. No juice at all.
But it's also interesting to see Danielle and Brittany, Tony and Jeremy. It's interesting to see how they're working together, but they're not working together. Because I think you're a traitor, but I'm not convinced that you're a traitor. So it's like I'm fishing information in and out, but I don't know who you really are. But I have to trust you because I don't trust anybody else, and I don't know anybody else. So it's just happy to see a familiar face and then pick off and piggyback information from both of them. So this is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's best to just stick with what you know, and who knows that better than the gamers? So after all is said and done, Boston Rob gets a Boston no and is sent away in his little mask and his little cape, never to be seen again.
I do have an input about that. I wish that they would have done it without revealing who he was first. I think that would have been a lot better. When they revealed it, I was like, wait, did they already vote? Because I think not knowing who it is makes it even more tempting, because it's like, okay, I'm for sure eliminating someone that I know is against me to add this random player. But I think because it was Boston Rob and everyone knows who Boston Rob is, they were like, nah, we're not adding that to this thing. But I feel like if they would have kept him hidden, I think somebody would have shook his hand.
Well, and also, like, that's actually a really good point. I hadn't even thought of that. If they did leave him a mystery, people might have thought, oh, well, what if this is one of my housewife friends? Or what if this is like a really big celebrity, like A-lister that we can bring into the competition? I think some of those people, I think most of them knew who he was, but I think some of those people were like, who the fuck is this backwards baseball cap guy? You know?
Oh yeah, Bob was like, what are we, 12? He's like,
Boston Bob.
But yeah, I thought that was very interesting.
Oh my God. Bob is so fucking funny. I forgot he said that, where he said,
he was like, yo, is he 12? Like, why is he still wearing a backwards hat?
Drop the hat.
Bob is killing it this season. Bob is like one of my favorites.
I fucking love Bob. Honestly, there's not that many drag queens from RuPaul that like I really love. Bob is one of them. Bob is just so fucking funny. So I will say overall, I thought that twist was kind of pointless, because whenever they've brought in people like on these shows where, oh, will they come in or won't they come in? They're always going to come in. So I knew they didn't fly him all the way to Scotland for nothing, you know?
And I think as well, just for it, you know, for it being Boston Rob, if they would have kept it hidden, it would have been more surprising in the later episode with that event that they do with that challenge. Like, because then people already see him and they're like, oh, we feel bad, so let's make sure he comes in, you know? So it's like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So everyone gets to mingle, they get to know each other, and this is the part where they get to tell Alan whether they want to be a faithful or they want to be a traitor. So one of my favorite moments was Tony and Carolyn talking to each other, and Tony's just like, yo, I'm be a faithful. I don't want to be a traitor. There's no way. And Carolyn's just like, come on, dude. Like, you want to be a traitor. Like, let's be a little serious here. Did you guys buy Tony's story for any moment that he was talking?
No. Not even for a little bit.
It's Tony. Come on, man. Like, no.
He's a gamer. So he want that power. So I was like, yeah, he's just talking shit. Like, come on now.
Yeah, if it was a reality TV star, then I would definitely be like, maybe he has a point. But all the gamers, you do not play a game like this to not want to be a traitor. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So I was like, any of the gamers saying that, automatic lie. But like a reality TV star, like if one of the housewives was like, I want to be a faithful, I would get it. I would be like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. I think it would be safe to assume that any gamer, maybe they are telling the truth, but there's a good shot that they want to be a traitor. And, you know, if it's someone like Bob Harper, I'll be like, okay, maybe you don't want to be a traitor.
Or like Dylan Efron, like, I believe you when you say you don't want to be a traitor.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I didn't believe Tony for a second.
He was bad at lying too. Like, come on now. Like,
Tony is a very bad liar. Like, I mean, honestly, if you look back at all of his seasons of Survivor, he won twice, and one time he was basically first boot. But the times that he won, he had a partner in the game that everyone really trusted that was able to corroborate his stories. Like, first time was Trish, the second time was Sarah.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
So we go into it and we see a few people really want to be traitors. Like Tony, he wants to be a traitor.
He was praying.
Yeah.
He said, Lord Allen, please.
I
love that. I was like, he's not getting it.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw him big like this, I was like, he's not getting it.
No, they're not going to do that shit. If you guys were put in the position, would you want to be a faithful or would you want to be a traitor?
Traitor.
I want to be a traitor, 100%.
Same here.
1000%.
I forgot who
wanna be a
said it.
traitor.
One of them said, I think it was Danielle, said, I would rather be shooting the ducks than be a sitting duck. Was that her or was that
Yeah,
someone else?
exactly.
I think it was Danielle who said that. Yeah.
You have full
I mean, you
control
don't
as a
join a
traitor.
game like this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you have such an advantage. You're not going to want to come into a game with a disadvantage. Being a traitor is
their game to
already an
win.
advantage. And now that new twist that in the final round table, they're not going to admit if they're a traitor or not. So that's even making it stronger. That's a stronger case to play.
I think that fixed the game because last season Kate was totally screwed over by the fact that she had to kill someone at top 5, and then it's like you go straight into the finale, and it's like obviously there's a traitor in the game. They're just gonna vote you because there's already suspicion on you.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
So they go in. I love when they're picking traitors because it's like the production quality of this show is so high. I really do feel like I'm watching like a murder mystery movie. So I have a clip for us. This is the first moments after the traitors are selected.
Who are the traitors? As if that's not enough excitement, I'll see you shortly for your first mission where things are really going to heat up. Toodles.
That was so much anxiety.
Oh my God.
Now to figure out who the traitors are.
No, I actually have to pay attention.
I'm just like, why is my heart racing?
And especially as the steps were getting closer, it was scary.
Okay,
I'm good.
so you're gonna have to help us if you're faithful. You wouldn't be lying to me.
For me?
Yeah.
No.
Because we need your investigative skills.
No.
Okay.
Alan, I begged you to touch me, to make me a traitor, and you just dissed me. In these games now, the reputation I have, even when I tell the truth, it's a lie. So I need to start pointing fingers because I am a faithful, but I gotta make them believe that I'm a faithful.
So what are some things that you guys noticed immediately after they took the blindfolds off and they were looking to see who a traitor was?
Tom Sandoval was being a weirdo, like staring at
Big
everybody.
time weirdo.
Yeah.
Oh my
What the
God.
hell was that? I would be
doing?
like, okay, he's a traitor if I saw that. I would be like,
Yeah, it's like, what are you
1000%.
doing, bro? Mean mugging everybody like you're the Terminator.
No, literally.
Yeah. I felt kind of bad for Tony. I felt bad for Tony because with a reputation like his, it was kind of like, you know, when you first get the cast reveal, I was like, there's no way in my mind he's going to be a faithful. There's no way, because when you make a person like him a faithful, he's at this point useless. And the reason I say that is because, like he said, even when I tell the truth is going to be a lie. So him being a traitor, at least add an extra traitor slot so that he can be in, even if he's going to be like the second voted out, because having him as a faithful is just not useful. Like
it's like if they made Dan. It's like if they made Dan a faithful. Like it just wasn't going to work.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
But also, I feel like from watching the first two seasons, like the unexpected people are traitors. So like going in, we should know like Tony's not going to be a traitor because he has this reputation. And so I'm just like, why are y'all thinking it's Tony when it's not going to be Tony? Like, you're not going to expect. And I'm like, that kind of blew me because it's like y'all are keep getting out faithfuls, knowing that the people that y'all are getting out aren't traitors. Like, but that's just from a viewer. It's like, come on, y'all. Like, this can't be that hard.
Yeah,
no, we're not in there.
I see a question from Terrell. Terrell asked, how did y'all feel about the traitors that they picked? So what wasn't shown in that clip was that the traitors selected were Danielle, Carolyn, and Bob. What do you guys think about those traitors?
I thought they were a good choice.
I think, like Morgan was saying, very unexpected choices.
Yes. I'm also very, like, Caroline is just scary to me, y'all. Like, just in general, she's scary.
She's a wild card,
She's unhinged, she's off the wall. And like later in the episode, like she was scaring me, but I don't know. And they're not clicking, but that's further down the episode 1. But I just want to see how it really plays out if they make it to the end. But I also don't think all 4 traitors are making it to the end.
No. Something I noticed
there's
about
no way.
Something I noticed about Bob immediately in that clip was he was just talking.
Deflecting.
But what it's kind of crazy because when you look at each of these traitors, things that in a normal person would make people suspicious, like Bob talking a lot, Carolyn looking shifty and bug-eyed everywhere, people just know that that's who they are. And because that's who they are, those red flags are not going to go off for people.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking too. Like Carolyn's mannerisms and her personality is almost her own smokescreen. Like they were saying, "Oh, she's batshit. Like she can't be a traitor. There's no way you could read in her face." But it's almost
Jeremy
like no,
she's a perfect traitor.
Yeah,
she was the best choice. I think.
I agree. I think they're only talking about Bob and Danielle right now too. They haven't even thought they've only said the opposite about Carolyn, that she can't be one. Like there's no way.
Right.
Carolyn's going to be the one that, like, the only way that she's going to get taken down is if Danielle, Bob, or
them.
Rob,
they tipped them, like kind of what Dan did last season.
Yeah, like I hope does not happen. I was really excited to see Danielle get to be a traitor because she's a BB legend.
Yes.
And I think that people kind of have forgotten about her because she's like, she was on so long ago that, if Derek had been in that position or Rob had been in that position, people kind of remember that they were masterminds, but Danielle, not so much.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I honestly think Danielle was the worst choice because of how obvious it would be that she was a traitor. Like, especially to the gamers, right? Like Jeremy, right? Jeremy picked that up right away. I was like, that's my boy.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Because Danielle is like, she's so good at her words. She knows what to say, when to say it, how to look when she's saying those things, that it's like, bro, damn well, like there is going to be a gamer. And if there's any gamer that's going to be a traitor, it's going to be Danielle. I personally love, my favorite pick was, though I think Carolyn will be the strongest traitor, I think Bob was the best pick because Bob is a social phenomenon when you look at him, just the way that he handles himself. And like you said, right? Like he talks so much that it's like, that's his personality. So when they picked Bob and the redemption for Peppermint, I was like, hell yeah, because I think, having drag queens on a show, like just a representation of that side of reality television was very little. So now having one in the spotlight, especially someone like Bob, who not only deserves it, is also very good at handling the spotlight. I think that's going to be like the killer. I think he goes the furthest, but there's something he does later on that I was like, oh, dude, I don't know. Yeah. But from the initial picks, I was like, he's going the furthest. There's no way he's not going to go.
I've also really enjoyed Bob's fashion on the show. I will say that. Like, I've noticed that there have been other drag queens that have gone on other shows. Like Alaska was on Scared Famous, and then Peppermint was on last season. But I remember Alaska was always in drag. I kind of enjoy that Bob isn't in drag the whole time. And if, Bob is in drag, it's like halfway drag. Like he's just being him. And I like that,
I agree.
So
I agree.
So we get into the first mission of the season. So I will say the missions they tend to be my least favorite part of the show just because they don't hold a lot of weight to them. But I actually really liked this mission. So the stakes are they have to row a boat together as a group, and there's like 5 different stations. Your goal is to pick up all $40,000 that are out there to add to the prize pot and make it back in time. But at each station, you have to drop off 2 people. those two people are going to be at risk for murder. So it's kind of like Morgan, not to get us triggered, a self-sacrifice game where you have to put yourself at risk. What did you guys think of the challenge before we get to any of the really big moments that happen?
It was different compared to the first 2 season challenges. Yeah. So I like that element of it, but the self-sacrifice, you're right, Dylan, it did it was a trigger, but it was different though. I like how it was different from the first 2 seasons. So it made people look at everybody differently. Cause like, why would you want to give up your spot if you're at risk of going home?
Yeah. You know what? It was really good in that aspect because you could look into what people did in those challenges to make a guess if they're a traitor or a faithful. Sophie, Edgar, what did you guys think?
I agree that it's my least favorite part of the show. But now that it does kind of add an element of, it changes the dynamics a little bit. It makes people kind of read into the decisions that they're making while in the challenge. But I was like, the people that did jump off, I didn't think too much about it. I didn't think like, oh, I would like the Housewives. They're not gamers. They are just moms and like at the end of the day. So I wasn't surprised that they all just sacrificed themselves to jump off the boat. So I wouldn't have read into that, but I don't know. I didn't have that many opinions about the challenge, to be honest.
Yeah, the challenge for me was a little bit different because I watched the UK version, right? And in the UK version, it's actually the third challenge. So at that point, they already have an establishment on who they think are traitors and who are not. I think this, as the first challenge, is way more detrimental to the people that get off the boat than it being the third challenge, because it's like, oh, you're getting off so comfortably. Like poor Dorinda, right? Like Dorinda was just doing it out of the kindness of her heart, but then everybody's like, she's a traitor. So it kind of sucks as a first challenge. And I was like, wow, they're doing this already compared to the UK one. But I did like how it ended up. I found it super funny that Bob and Danielle were on the same boat and they were trying to convince each other of like, I'm not a traitor. That's like when they were up in the turret and they like hugged each other. Like, it was such an awesome moment. So I'm really happy that happened. But I think they should have put this challenge a little bit later in the game.
I can totally see that. So this challenge caused the first fight of the season. So we saw at first, what was going down was you had, which I found so funny, it was old man Ivor saying, guys, we got to keep the strong men on this boat so we can get to the end. Meanwhile, he's just struggling to row his oar. So the first people that were getting off were the Housewives. And then Bob immediately saw this and was like, I'm fucking over this shit. We need some guys to get off of it. So let's take a look at that moment.
They need to hear this. Okay. Guys!
Oh, wait. That is not the right one. Hold on. Let me get the right clip. Where is this shit? Oh, challenge Bob mad. That was what it was. Okay. Here it is. Okay.
Okay, so we gotta get rid of 2 more.
Yeah, we are gonna need some strong guys on the way back.
Then it's gonna be all the fucking girls and then all the guys. That's crazy. We
That's
can't do
what
that.
it is right now. There's 4 girls.
So some guys have to get off this fucking boat.
Who came up with this? A guy? Let me guess.
We cannot keep leaving the women on the fucking rafts, guys. Come on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, guys, some guys have to get off the boat. That was for real. That was dead ass serious.
You're staying.
I'm gonna say.
But ultimately, I wasn't afraid to get off because I'm a traitor. So I was like, well, I'm not gonna die tonight.
I love Bob. I love Bob so much.
Oh my god, that shit was so funny. I thought it was a very smart play. When you're someone as passionate as Bob, you don't have to fake emotion. Like when I was on Beast Games, we were doing the flag challenge, and I remember I was so nervous about not getting a flag that I literally started like crying and having a panic attack. But part of me was like, if I start crying, people are going to feel sorry for me and they're going to want me to continue. And it worked, but it was like I was drawing upon real emotion, and it was also kind of strategic. So I felt like Bob was doing kind of something similar where he had this real annoyance with, people, the guys kind of just like strong-arming the girls to get off the boat. And it made him look like a faithful, honestly, truly. And then he got off, and it gave him a really valid excuse to go.
To get off.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I didn't like. Yeah, that moment was awesome. But I didn't like how like none of us like it was all women, and the fact that what pissed me off the most was they didn't even go to the last.
Oh yeah.
And then get the money, then get the other 20K. So my thing is, y'all had over 20 minutes to go get the last 20K.
Literally,
don't nobody want to get off the boat. Like that pissed me off so bad.
I was like, let me get this straight. So you're arguing about having strong men so you can go to the end, but yet you don't even go to the last one, even though if you remember, like after Bob, it was Danielle. So it was another woman to get off because none of the men wanted to get off. And then they don't even go to the end. I was like, are you serious? Like, I think Dylan was the only one that was like, let's go to the end. But then they overwhelmed him and they were like, no, we're going to go back. He's like, all right, let's go back.
They were all
like,
scared.
dude, there's no way. Yeah, it made no sense.
That was ridiculous because at the end of the day, you're there to earn money. What's the point of staying in the competition if you've only got like $50 at the end?
Right.
Exactly.
I will say too, like I think it was 40 grand, right? The total. In the UK version, it's only 10 grand. And they were all like willing to talk about it and get out for 10 grand. This is why like a big thing for me is like, don't get me wrong, I love the US version, but I really wish they made a civilian version because for the civilians, they really want the money. You know what I mean? Like it takes someone like Dorinda, who's just genuinely a good person, to want to get off. You know what I mean? Like Tony won Survivor twice. Why the hell would he get off for 40K? That doesn't make sense. So it's like things like that I'm like, like they should adjust these challenges because you know that these people have money. Either it's their careers or they've been on reality TV shows before.
They gotta raise
challenge, make it a little spicy.
They gotta raise the cash prize. I got
they do
for the first season, but it got to be at least 500K when you're
Dorinda
celebrities.
owns her own castle. Like they call it Bluestone Manor. I don't know if you guys watch Real Housewives.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's like so rich, and so she was probably like, "This is like chump change. I don't need this money. I'll get off the freaking rap. You guys will shut up."
Yeah, I think that's a dynamic in the game that they definitely need to address when it comes to the differences between this Traitors and all the other ones.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
But also, like, I feel like a lot of competition shows nowadays is just celebrities and celebrities and celebrities. It's not. We don't get a chance to go now. It's always just another celebrity getting on another reality show, and people like us that want to are probably like we don't have the opportunity because they're not giving it to us anymore.
And I think it was also because of the result of the first season, how Cirie ran fields around all. Like she literally was like, I'm gonna team up with the people that have never played before, so that I have the number. So I think because that happened, but honestly, the UK is doing a civilian season and a celebrity season. The Traitors is such a big show. I'm pretty sure they can do 2 seasons a year, 1 civilian and 1 UK.
They really should.
And I feel like the civilian one would be insane because we all know how Americans are. So I'm like, bro, everyone thinks the UK one is better because it's civilians and all that stuff. Get a US civilian season, and I'm telling you, I honestly think it would trump the UK.
They could do both. Like they could do celebrity Traitors and they could do civilian Traitors like twice a year. I mean, this is like the fastest growing reality show out there. It's slowly joining the big 3. I think it already is part of the big 3 now, big 4.
Yeah, because the Amazing Race went down.
I would say it trumps Amazing Race at this point. I'd say now the big 3 is like Survivor, Big Brother, the Traitors, and then I'll throw the challenge in there, even though I wouldn't put the challenge in there in my opinion. So before the challenge ended, we saw another great piece of acting from Danielle that we kind of threw in there. And this moment kind of tickled me a little bit.
I'll do it.
No! A guy, get on the raft. Come on, guys.
I'll just do it. I'll fucking do it. You guys gotta go. Let's go. I'll just do it.
Oh, it's so annoying.
It's okay. I'm just sitting there anyway.
It's okay. Let me get over you guys. Wow.
Just go. Let's go. You guys gotta go. It's okay.
Because I'm a faithful, but I have a heart.
Love you guys.
Shit, I feel bad.
It'd be really great if just whoever was traitors would get on the raft, and that'd be really nice.
Like, did they not think that maybe they were the traitors? Oh my god!
I know.
Danielle's done quite a bit of fake tears over the last 3 episodes. If you guys were in the game, do you think you would have bought all of her tears?
No.
Depends on who I am in the game.
If
I'm a gamer, then yeah. If I'm like a reality TV star that doesn't know much about gaming, then probably.
Maybe the first few times, but I think when Rob clocked it, he was like, "Okay, you're doing too much at breakfast."
Yes.
I would have been like, "Okay," but that moment there on the raft, I think I might have fucking believed it.
I would have believed the raft, but like you said, the breakfast, I was like, "Girl, come on, you're doing too much."
Yeah,
it's getting played out, so I'm just like, I hope she doesn't do that moving forward. But the first 2, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, the first
after
2,
the first 2, it was like, okay, cut that.
Because that was kind of like the moment thing. And you know what? Again, it made sense that she'd be the one to go off because she wasn't really helping with the challenge. She was one of the older women on the boat. So
exactly,
it was a bit of an advantage for her.
I actually saw Brittany from Big Brother say something so funny. She's like, I wasn't getting off the raft. I was pretending I was like Olivia Jade. You know how Olivia Jade had that like cruise scandal? She's like, I was Olivia Jade on that raft. I wasn't getting off. I was dying at that.
Brittany is so funny, like, because she was the same way on Reindeer Games. I've noticed that she literally she acts like if she loses the competition that she's gonna get shot, like Squid Game. She's like, I cannot risk this. I cannot go home.
Yeah.
I need immunity at any cost.
That's so funny.
So as we were saying, they turn around at 20,000, and then they get back to the castle and they get the buffet. Now, Morgan and I got to experience what it's like filming a show, and you're with a bunch of people, and there's a limited amount of food. I cannot imagine if all of us were staying at the same fucking hotel, and some of us, like when we were filming the first episode, we would, get back at different times. Like the bigger numbers got taken in first, and then the lower numbers had to wait a while. I cannot fucking imagine if we all got to the Hilton and there was one buffet set up and all of the food was eaten at the buffet and we were left with scraps. That was crazy. I would have went livid on that shit. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
There was someone who admitted that they got double, and I can't remember who it was. It was a Survivor player, but I remember one of them was like, I had 2.
I think it was Jeremy. It was Jeremy or it was Tom.
It might have been Jeremy.
But the fact that they were like eating and socializing, and then you get back, I was like, they didn't even wait for them. They didn't even set a plate aside for them. Like, imagine filming all day. Oh, I'm about to come back, get a good hearty meal, and it's scraps. Oh.
And they had to sit on the rafts. And I mean, I can tell you right now, they probably were waiting for hours to get taken off of those rafts. Mm-hmm. And they had to go probably one by one and then taken back. So I can't imagine going through all that shit. And this is where I do got to give it up to the producers, because by putting them in those scenarios, it does cause turmoil. And that's why what went down next was a huge fight between Bob, Dorinda, Danielle, and everyone else.
And it sucks. They didn't even get the chance to shower. Like, everyone was already showered, dressed, ready to go for the night, and they came back like literally still in the same clothes. Like, I would have been exhausted. Oh
yeah, in their little black jumpsuits and hoodies.
Jesus, man, so rough.
I'm not gonna lie, I would have been pissed too. I would have been like, I need y'all
1000%
to talk to me. Go stuff your face before I stuff it for you.
But that was good on Danielle, though, how she walked in that other room, sat, pissed off, ate her food.
And then started laughing once Tom gave her a hug.
Oh my god, yeah.
Queen behavior, bro. I love her.
I thought it was kind of wild how Bob was able to like kind of start the fight, but then Dorinda took off and like she took over the fight for Bob and was going toe to toe with Lord Ivar.
Oh yeah.
Are we addressing him as Lord Ivar now?
I don't know. That's Lord Ivar. That's Lord Ivar over there. I'm telling y'all. if I would have been on Survivor with Sarah, I remember Sari calling her Officer Sarah. I would call Officer Sarah. There was a woman in Beast Games. She was Dog Mom Julie. I always call her Dog Mom Julie. You know, I love me a good nickname for someone. So after the whole fight goes down, the traitors get to finally meet each other. This entire time, they don't even know who is in the competition with them. And our traitors are, as we said, it's Danielle, Carolyn, and Sari. Or not Sari, Carolyn, Danielle, and Bob. Sorry. So now so that's around the end of the first episode. So before they have to make their decision on who they're going to eliminate, we see the return of Boston Rob. He's in a cloaked hood, and Alan says to him, you know, you're not done quite yet. And then they bring in 2 other cloaked figures. Did you guys have any idea who these other cloaked figures were going to be before they revealed who they were?
I had no idea.
No.
I screamed. I screamed. I won't. When I saw the Wes, I was like, because I don't watch the challenge, so I was like, who is this Ferguson cousin looking? And then he said he was Ferguson's cousin. And I was like, oh shoot. But Derek, I fucking screamed so loud. I scared my wife. She was like watching the Gilmore Girls on the side, like with her friend. And she was like, why are you screaming? And she looks at the screen, and then she screams because she loves Derek too. And I was like, yes, because Derek was always like, I don't know if I'm gonna do another show. I don't know if I'm gonna do another show. So to see him on here, I was so happy.
Yeah. Well, I watched the challenge and I saw Wes too, and I was kind of shocked. The thing is that when I saw, are we talking about like what our reactions were when we saw all 3 of them?
No, what who did you think it was before they took off the hoods?
No idea. I didn't know they were gonna add 3 other players. It seemed like such a packed group of people already. I was shocked.
I think that they overestimate how much of. I think it's more a fan service than it is like game related, because if you wanted to make a statement, be like, oh my God, this is crazy that they're the intruders, you probably would want to bring in someone like Kate. Like I wouldn't have brought Kate in again for a 3rd time, but like someone that was major on another season of the Traitors, like bringing these 3 in was definitely more of like a fan service type of deal. But that's what, if I didn't already know the spoilers from like the little rumor mill that had been going on, I probably would have assumed it would have been like someone big from the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, I didn't know anything. And so I started watching House of Villains, the 2nd season. And I was like, Wes is on another show. Like Wes just told everybody on the last episode, on the last season of the challenge, I'm not doing another show. My wife is pregnant. And I was like, okay. So then on House of Villains, they made a comment too. They was like, well, we got some big names because Traitors hasn't started filming yet. And I was like, ha, that's funny. And then I go on Instagram, and after I watch it, I was like, what the fuck's Wes is on the challenge? Like, I'm a big Wes fan. I'm a big challenge girl. So I was like, wow, like that's a game changer in my eyes, because Wes is a good challenger.
For sure.
I would say that the 3 people that they brought in, Rob, Wes, and Derek, are all considered Mount Rushmore players. They're in talks of the best of all time. Now, I would not say any of them are the best of all time, but I can definitely see the argument for that. So they bring them in as intruders, and while they are, awaiting their fate, things are not all peachy keen in the Traitors turret between Danielle and Carolyn. So let's take a look at that real fast.
We need to murder someone tonight.
Let's talk about strategy.
We need to figure out who we're gonna frame and who we're gonna take to the end.
Right. One thing at a time.
Yeah, or 12 steps ahead.
Always you got to think 20 steps ahead.
I'm not thinking 20.
That's how I play.
Carolyn as a traitor makes me nervous. She's all over the place. She's very sporadic. So we'll see how this is gonna go.
I think 20 steps ahead.
Can't. This is not a game that you've played.
You
though.
have to.
Danielle,
Every decision you make.
I'm not trying to be rude right now.
Wait, listen to me.
You haven't played this. Ah, Danielle, I know you've played Big Brother, but like, this ain't Big Brother.
every decision you make, you have to think of the outcome. What's the repercussion?
We don't know how people are going to react.
No, we don't.
The turret is late nights, and everyone's not made for the graveyard shift. Carolyn and Danielle cannot agree on anything, but because I'm kind of a drama queen and I love drama, I'm going to sit back and enjoy the show.
God, Bob is absolutely like killing it in confessionals for this.
I gotta say, I
love
love his confessional look. His confessional look was
He's
really
so
good.
good.
So, So I gotta say that I agree with Carolyn on her assessment when she was saying, you know, Danielle, with all respect, you don't know this game. And the reason I say that is because we just saw last season Dan and Parvati, two of like the best competition reality show players of all time, collectively get their asses served to them on a silver platter by someone that has never done a competition show ever.
Literally.
So what did y'all think of that little moment?
I agree too. I mean, when she brought up that they shouldn't target Dorinda for the reason she said was that like she would probably make herself a target eventually. I completely agree with her.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, Danielle's probably just she feels confident. I think it's been a while since she's really been in a game like this. I mean, she played reindeer games, but she probably felt confident and I don't know. Carolyn is also the type of personality that's easy to it's just kind of a pushover. So, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? But I agree with Carolyn in that situation.
I think that all the things that they've been on is all different. So like Traitors is completely different from Big Brother, completely different from Survivor. And so as you can be 10 or 12 steps ahead, you always have to be in the moment though, because I feel like Traitors is sometimes an in the moment game. And so you have to react and think about things. You have to just always be aware of how stuff is going to play out. So I think Carolyn made a good point, but also you got to be just a few steps ahead of the competition.
Yeah.
Right? So I saw both ways.
That's true.
Yeah. I
I
think. Oh, go ahead, Edgar.
Good. So I understood if I was on anyone's side, it was Bob the Drag Queens. If I was on anyone's side, let the other two fight. They'll get out of it on their own, you know? I agree with Carolyn because, like you guys both mentioned, like Dorinda already made herself a target. What's the whole point? But then I also see Danielle's point because, look, they did it and look at the chaos that happened, you know? But at that moment, like you guys have said, you don't know what the hell is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So it was kind of like I saw both
You're both
perspectives,
right.
but Carolyn is also you have to think about this too, right? Carolyn is a new era player. She's a new school player. Danielle is BB3, you know what I'm saying? BB3, BB7, and reindeer games is a completely different thing. So you're looking at like the old mindset, which was all like, hey, manipulation, blah, 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 chaos, with the new mindset, which is let's play it safe and we can get to the end if we play it safe. And I think that's how Carolyn's playing it.
I thought that they were on the right track. I just think Dorinda was the wrong hit.
I think it should have been Dolores.
Yeah, I think so too. If you look at the first season of The Traitors, the way that Cirie, Cody, and I don't even remember the name of the other motherfucker, but the way that they were able to glide through the competition was they constantly created chaos. And Dorinda would have been that chaos for them. I think the way they could have gone about it is if you wanted to pin the blame on Ivor, yes, vote off a housewife, kill a housewife. But by killing off a housewife, who's Dorinda the closest with in there? Isn't there another New Yorker, housewife in New Yorker on the cast?
No, it was New Jersey. New Jersey,
No,
which was Dolores.
New Jersey's Dolores.
I would have knocked off Dolores because if they're, tight colleagues being New Jersey, New York housewives, Dorinda may take that as an attack on her, that you didn't kill her, but you took out her friend. So the blame may still go on Ivor, and that just creates the most amount of chaos in the game.
I also think they kind of screwed us out of some good TV. Dorinda is good TV when she's pissed. You saw a little glimpse when she was like pissed that she had to sacrifice herself and like not eat and stuff like that. Like she's amazing. So I'm sad about that, but it's okay. Yeah.
But also like the strategy going in this season compared to last two seasons, like you said, Dylan, like they were like targeting people as the traitors and putting a hit on them when knowing they're faithful, and I don't think they're doing that so good this season.
Yeah, you definitely should go for people that are pretty confident that they're faithfuls. Like, there's no point in like Dorinda had people worried about her already.
Exactly.
And like now that's another person off the table. So that was around so now we're in episode 2, and we start off with Dorinda being killed. And we're at the first breakfast, and I believe this is when the tears started flowing from Bob and Danielle.
Oh my God.
I think that both of them are being like a little too extra with the tears. I cry a lot, but I'm not even laying it on that thick. Like, you don't need to cry this much.
So now I'm like, maybe he's a traitor. I'm like, I don't want to say this because I don't want to spread rumors.
They have no idea what's going on. It is so good. So my game plan today is to get people's mind turning on why was she murdered and possibly put blame on somebody. Long as it ain't me, Bob the drag queen, or Carolyn at this point. That's all we need.
So they start fake crying. It sounds though like, I don't know how sincere Danielle's crying was, but it sounds
Bob
like
was sincere.
Bob was being sincere. And this is another situation where your personality just does help you in this competition. I don't know, like, how do you guys think you would react if you were at a breakfast after committing a murder?
I'd be like Carolyn. I
think so too.
I was watching it with my wife too. She was going back and forth, and she's like, I kind of like that Carolyn didn't cry. And what she said, like, sometimes when you do too much, it's easy to pick up. And I feel like Carolyn, again, like, just we've been praising her this whole time because she's just so like, she understands the game. People really take her for this idiot, but she really understands the game. And she's like, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to make any attention to me. No attention. Right. And there's a reason why the other two's names have been said and not hers, you know? So.
Yeah, exactly.
They're drawing too much attention on themselves. Like, I do think, like I said, Bob was genuine, but we all know Danielle's was fake. So, like, her doing all that. And now this is her second time crying about something that has happened during the game, and we all know based off of Big Brother, she's not she's not that emotional. So it's just a lot for
I'm surprised like Brittany didn't think twice about anything, or maybe she did and they didn't show us anything. But I feel like if I was there, I would just act like a faithful. None of the other faithfuls were crying. Like, they were the only two people crying.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I probably would have noticed that.
I think Robin cried. I knew it was the Housewives that cried, but it would make sense if it was
because
the
that's their
Housewives,
friend.
you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I do think that because the Housewives were getting targeted, I do think that it was a good move. Bob has come forward because he's gotten a lot of hate for killing off the Housewives, and he's been saying that the Housewives are colleagues and they're not going to turn on each other, whereas the gamers have history and they will turn against each other.
That's true.
So it was just very interesting, and immediately Ivar has heat on his back. It's interesting because I feel like I feel like the killer has never been that obvious. Whenever someone's been a traitor, they've went out of their way to not kill someone that they would be connected to. So I don't know. I was kind of like, do y'all really think it's Ivar? Like, I don't think Ivar's that good at lying, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah. Well, I love what Bob mentions in his confessional. Well, no, he says in the roundtable, he's like, if anyone is good at lying, it's a royal. And I died when he said that. I was like, oh no, the shot's being taken. But yeah, I understand Bob's standpoint. I'm with him 1000%. Take out the people that are on this show that have nothing to do with games, and then let the gamers kill each other off.
That's a really good point. We did see the three girls. I forgot what their little alliance name was, but it's like Sierra, the Bambies. Yeah, I don't even remember all their names. It's
Nikki. It's Nikki, the wrestler.
Nikki,
Chriselle,
Gabby.
Oh, Gabby. Yeah, not Sierra.
It's Nikki, Gabby, and I believe Chriselle. And they've got a little thing going on. Something I noticed in the episode was they are heavy Bob supporters. And they're kind of like just doing what Bob wants, you know, pitting the blame on Ivar, defending him, saying he's not a traitor. It was pretty good. So after that goes down, we start to see a relationship building between Ion and Tom. What are your guys' thoughts on Ion and Tom?
I love Ion. I love her. I think she's just like very genuine. Sad what happens, but I loved her. I wish she went further. And then Tom, I can't wait to see his ass bounce. I cannot wait. I can.
Oh, it's not. I'm so sorry. It's not Tom. It was Wells. That was his name.
Wells.
Yeah,
I love too.
I'm getting these motherfuckers confused.
Yeah, no, I loved Wells too. I think Wells was playing. He was setting himself up to be kind of like a Peter of this season. And I thought he was going to be able to catch them, but I mean, good on the Traitors. But it was sad. But I like both of them. I genuinely do like both of them.
Yeah. I've never seen Ion, so it genuinely showed that she has nothing about games.
Yeah.
And so and that played a role, which also made me like her even more because she was genuinely like, well, I know I'm faithful. I'm just trying to help out. Like, just tell me what to do, and I'm going to do it. And I also think I think they should have kept her, honestly.
Yeah.
I think she would have been a good person to kill over Dorinda in the first one because nobody was looking at her, and they probably would have never banished her. I don't know. But
They still wouldn't.
I think that she would have. I think she would have fell into the Sheree role, where Sheree was extremely clueless last season. I think no one ever suspected Sheree as being a traitor just because she was so out of it. Ion was one of the people that I did not know anything about going into the season, but I learned about her because everyone on Twitter was roaring about her on her version of the Housewives, and she definitely did not disappoint. So the next mission that they have, they revealed the 3 intruders. It's Rob and Wes and Derek, and it's just so funny because like half of them knew who they were, but then like the other half were like, who are these guys? My favorite comment was from Ion, who asked Wes if he was a TikToker.
Oh my god, yeah.
So I didn't fully understand the game. The game was like they had to get the coins.
I know.
And they had to put them down, but it was like, why does it matter who you bring down? Like,
they're all coming in anyway.
So it was like a time frame. So I hated this mission with a passion. So I'm gonna explain why. And I know I keep going back to this, but it's just because they go hand in hand. In the Traitors UK, in the first episode, 3 people have to self-sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
In this challenge in the UK, it's the 3 people that self-sacrificed. There's no time limit. The way it works is that you have to collect enough gold to bring the person down, and the last person to come down is eliminated. They do not have a shot to come back.
That's good.
I thought they were going to do something like that, where it's like, okay, these 3 are here, pick your poison. You know what I mean? But the fact that it was a time limit, and I was like, bro, they're going to find all the money because like you mentioned before, this is a fan service. Adding these 3 people are fan services. I didn't even pay attention to the challenge. So like the whole TikTok comment was the only thing that I caught because I was like, they're all 3 going to make it. There's no way that one of them
I didn't understand. Was it if their cage didn't come down, did they not enter the game?
Yes. If their cage didn't come down all the way, they did not enter the game in time.
See, I didn't understand that.
I thought that was dumb. I like the 2 out of 3
I would have
better.
just said, guys, let's not do jack shit because how much money did they earn for doing this mission?
15K.
Oh, for 15K, you knock out 3 people in one round, and then hearing that they had immunity through the first elimination. 3 people is like a whole. It's a whole episode. Not knock them bitches out.
It didn't make any sense, or at least make it where if there is no time limit, you have to bring 2 people down, but that 3rd person is not coming down, like the way they did in the UK. I thought it was like masterful the one they did in the UK. And then this one, I was like, this is so dumb.
I think that intruders are pointless unless it's like Kate, where it's like you're like the traitor, the intruder is coming in, whether you like it or not. It's like, why put up this facade of, they could come in or they could not come in? Like, and didn't they act like, it was the very last second that they got it in? I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
I don't believe it either. It just it's obvious that, you know, that's the thing about like the Traitors. I think that the one like issue I have with it is the timing, right? They always do that as if they finish the mission at the very last second, which I'm like, that's BS. I don't believe that. You know, and just something like this, where it's like I would have done what you did. I would have just stood there. I wouldn't even care. I would have just stood there. I'd be like, I'm not putting y'all in the game. Like, yeah, it's 15 grand, but it's 3 less people. I'm not doing it. I'm not trying to add the headache. And then Rob coming back, it was obvious that he was going to be in the season, right? They're giving Rob a second chance to come back in. It was like, okay, you guys are.
Well, and the way you got to think of it too is that if you're a faithful, there's 3 of them. There's a good chance that at least one of them is going to be a traitor.
Like what Derek mentioned. Derek mentioned that too. He was like, I'm going to talk to these guys, but I'm pretty positive one of them is a traitor.
Yeah, one of them has to be. They're not going to put 3 more faithfuls in the game.
That's so true.
And then Alan said the night before that Rob was coming in as a traitor and he'll meet his other traitors later that night. So I'm just like, what's the point? And I think they got immunity. Like they could give somebody immunity once all 3 of them were down. So what?
Yeah, that was like that was the enticement, was that if you get them down, you could potentially get a shield. But honestly, I would just be like, I don't give a fuck about no shield. Like if I don't help them get down, like are the traitors really gonna just like take me out? I'll probably have a target on my back. They'll keep me in the game. So I mean, it was a fun challenge, but there was really no stakes. Like I didn't even understand that was a thing, that they could not come into the game. I was like, okay, obviously they're gonna come into the game. Like so they enter the competition and they have to give a shield to each person. They also have immunity. So one thing I will say was, I think it was fair, was that they did not have a vote at the round table. It's like, okay, if they cannot be killed and they cannot be voted for, at least they don't have a vote. But then at the same time, it's like their vote wouldn't have mattered that much. And also, like, now they get a whole week where they can just do nothing and make no enemies. And they're entering the 3rd week with like a huge advantage. I don't know. I just thought it was bullshit.
Yeah, I thought that whole thing was just like, what the fuck? And I actually see one of the comments. Yeah, that was the comment. I was like, yeah, you know what?
They demanded immunity for 3 episodes. I actually would, Mary, I wouldn't be surprised by that, to be honest with you, because Boston Rob and Wes already think that they deserve, special treatment because Derek won 1 season 10 years ago against a group of people with a combined IQ of ketchup. And then Wes thinks he's like some amazing challenge. I've never even seen the challenge.
Derek shouldn't have even won that season, though. I'll be honest. It should have been Frankie, but that's another story for another time.
Well, yeah, that too.
Honestly, I found it annoying that they put those 3 people that they chose were in Rob, Wes, and Derek. Like they're all the same kind of player in the shows that they're in. They're like middle-aged white guys with like these big, sneaky, calculated personalities, and like they play the same type of game. I'm confused. They should probably save them for next season. Like there's gonna be another season of the Traitors.
They should have divvied them up. I do agree with that. Like you don't need all of them together.
Yeah, add 3
or bring another modern player too.
Yeah, or like another drag queen or another woman or another I don't know.
Yeah,
and then
it's just you're gonna use up all the legends in your first 3 seasons. Like last season it was good because Dan and Janelle are very different players. And then Sandra and Parvati are both very different players. So 100%. There's no overlapping with it.
I also would compare Rob to Tony and Tony to Jeremy. Like they're all kind of similar.
They're all the same kind of player. Boat. Like I was thinking like, okay, you have this modern age Survivor player, right? Why don't you bring a modern age Big Brother player? Like maybe a Chelsea who just won Big Brother. I know it was like the filming was beforehand, but somebody like that, maybe Taylor or like somebody from the Cookout, like Tiffany. Bring Tiffany. Great at this game.
Oh my God.
Bring someone from New Era.
It's a contract problem.
That's
unfortunately.
The issue.
I mean, it seems that Survivor is a little more lax than Big Brother is because Carolyn was on only like 2 years ago.
Right.
And Taylor was on 2 years ago and she was not allowed. So I'm guessing that maybe Survivor doesn't want to hold their people back as much as Big Brother does, which is a shame because I think Taylor is great for this. I want to see Felicia
Oh
on
my
the
God, Felicia
Yes.
would be amazing on Traitors.
Oh, Felicia,
Oh
yeah.
my god,
And
I would
Felicia would
die.
be phenomenal.
Felicia is a fan. Not a fan. Felicia is a friend of the Slightly Bitter Network. You can check out my interview with her a while back. I have her phone number. I check in with her every now and then. I love me some Felicia Cannon. She would be
Air
great.
Force, baby. Air
Oh,
Force.
absolutely. I also think there's some Netflix people that they can throw in there. Like, I would love to see the girl that won Squid Game, Mai. I would love to
Oh
yeah.
yes. Or
I would
Beast
love to see
Game
her.
people.
Yeah,
Beast
you know.
Game, like,
I'm
you
telling y'all
guys.
right now, Tawana, they better use Tawana on some more shows.
She deserves it too.
Yeah. She was my like number one in that shit, man. Like I loved playing the game with her. I would love to play another game with her. She's great.
So I think it'd be really funny because now that you bring up Netflix, I think it'd be really funny if they did a celebrity season with no gamers, like just straight up like Too Hot to
Oh,
Handle
really?
people, like Love Island people, Housewives,
Dude,
like
Love Island people are
selling
definitely gonna get
content,
on next
all-
season.
Oh my god, yeah. Love Island would
Especially
be really
from
good.
this past season that was so big in the US, they're definitely gonna have like one
Yeah,
of those people
I think
there.
it would be awesome because it's people that don't understand the game. Like I feel like the gamers
And it's their
always have a
network.
head start. Yeah.
It's their network, so they can actually pull from their own people. I wouldn't be surprised too if we start seeing more some Deal or No Deal Island people.
Oh yeah.
I'm not even a huge fan of Deal or No Deal Island, but there are some people from Dondi, as people call it, that I think would be great with the show. Yeah, so there's a lot of things that they could do. I mean, don't get me twisted. I love the gamers. Like the gamers are the ones that do bring me here, but I would love to see more non-gamer people mixed in with them.
Yeah.
Or do
Or
them
if
all
they could
gamers
somehow
and
get
then no
A-listers.
gamers. Yeah.
Or if they could
Yeah.
somehow bring A-listers in, like maybe like a musician or something. Like this is left field, right? But can you imagine like watching a season with like Bad Bunny, like Sabrina Carpenter, like all these big A-listers too? I mean, it's only
But I
like 2
think
to
they
3
would.
weeks
I think
of
they would
filming.
do it though. That's the thing. I think they
Yeah,
would
I
do it.
1000% think A-listers would do this show. It's not a large commitment like Big Brother.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It's not going
It's
to
a
ruin
short
anything
commitment.
socially. It's just a short game, very simple to play. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 2-3 seasons we start seeing A-listers. Like I know Jack Harlow's really huge in reality television. Plop him in here. Billie Eilish
Rihanna.
Love Survivor. Pop her in there. You know what I mean?
Well,
Rihanna loves
I
Big
think
Brother.
Dylan Efron was a fan first of Traitors,
was.
and he probably like reached
Yeah.
out to someone saying, "I want to play" or something.
Probably.
So
Hell,
if they do those shows, would y'all want them to win money, or would you want them to give money to charity?
well, they
Yeah,
would
charity.
probably,
If it's A-listers, charity.
they would probably give the money to charity. But honestly, I think the gag of it would be put them in there with a Tiffany Pollard or an Omarosa. That's not going to give it to charity, you know. So, what's that show called where they're related to a celebrity but they themselves are
Claim to
celebrities?
Fame.
Claim to fame.
Claim
Claim
to
to
Fame.
fame.
Put some people in there from Claim to Fame. You know, put the Clout Chasers in.
Hell yeah.
So after that challenge, it's the first round table of the season, and the heat is on Wells and Robin Dixon. So the reason that Robin is in heat is because they're saying that the housewives, you know, it's very easy for you to kill a housewife and take the blame off of you. But it's like, I don't think I would be thinking that way, because last season when what's her name was a traitor. What's her name? Phaedra. When Phaedra was a traitor, she did kill a housewife, but it wasn't until like halfway through the game that she killed a housewife. It's a big no-no. So, and if someone's out here suggesting it, I feel like the blame should start going on to them. So, so what did y'all think of the first round table of the season?
I hated it. Because the first round table for me is always like, okay, I threw a pencil and it stuck on the wall, so I'm a traitor. It's like things that make no sense to just point the person as a traitor. So I felt like it was unfair. But I mean, that's the game, right? So usually the first round table I'm not that invested in, because I'm like, okay, like they're just gonna throw out random facts. Like the whole even though I kind of understand the whole Chriselle thing when she was like, well, I know what you did to Ariana, so I know that you have the capability of doing this. It's like, okay, but what has he done in the game? Don't get me wrong, he's still being a creep, but like, what has he done in the game to point out that he's a traitor? You're using this based off past perceptions of him, you know? So it was like things like that where I was like, I don't know, I'm kind of losing it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go based off of things that are actually happening in the show. You can't go based off of people's track record. I think that it's like kind of foolish.
And it's funny because they sit right next to each other too.
I know.
So one of the other people that was under heat was Tom, because Tom immediately after they had selected Traitors was throwing out Chriselle's name. So I got a little clip to show of that moment.
So when we first walked out, Tom mentioned you. It was like 5 steps out of there.
You think it's because I'm friends with Ariana and he knows that?
Yeah. That's so not.
That's sabotage.
That is sabotage.
Tom is already throwing my name out. First of all, who plays like that? Second of all, I know Tom has a bias against me because I am friends with his ex. Knowing what he did to Ariana, I have an opinion of him already. So if the ship's burning, he's coming down with me.
And this led to their little fight at the first round table.
You were acting very strange to me, and Jeremy as well.
Can I respond to that? Are you finished?
Sure.
Are you finished?
I told you before we ever hit the round table, a personal connection to you, that I am friends with your ex. We had a cool conversation. You were like,
So is everybody.
Let's not make that awkward. I was like, okay, good. I feel relieved. I was so nervous about that. It's my turn now. I let you speak. To be honest with you, Tom, we take our thing off. You were giving me the Spock eyebrow with the spotlight on your face. I was uncomfortable. You make me uncomfortable. The second your foot hit outside those doors, you started throwing my name around so recklessly.
I'm just trying to do the best I can. I'm asking questions.
A lot of times, the Traitors' job is to create chaos, and the person that threw out the most names and caused the most chaos was you, Tom.
I love it. I love it.
Oh my god. It's just like, you know who Tom kind of looks like? Did y'all see the second smile that just came out?
Yes. Oh my god,
He
yeah.
looks like the guy that kills himself with or unalives himself, as the TikTok people would say, with the weight in the first scene of the movie.
Yes.
Like, he looks full on.
Yeah, he kind of does.
So I loved that moment because, you know, we're so used to seeing drama on, you know, Survivor, Big Brother that's all about game. I kind of like seeing some housewife drama, like real life shit drama, because you can tell that's real hate in her voice when she's going after it. What did y'all think?
Chriselle, like just watching Selling Sunsets, Chriselle is a loyal friend. Like she is very loyal. So her sticking up for her friend and saying, I know what kind of guy you are, is like, I see you, I got your card, I'm pulling your number, don't fuck with me. And she read him for filth at the table. And I was like, you better eat, Chriselle.
That was a dragging. That was a hard dragging that she did.
You know what would have been funny if they were both traitors.
Oh, that would have been so. Honestly,
that's
they
what I was
both
wanting.
traitors.
That I was like, you should put traitors that have personal like beef with each other and see how they manage.
I have
That's so
always
true.
advocated that there needs to be a show, kind of like X on the Beach, where you bring in people that have real life problems, like real like relationship issues. Like even though they aren't exes, they're friends through exes. But instead of putting them in like a love game or whatever it is, put them in a competition game where they got to work together and just see what they do.
I've been
that would be
wanting that
great.
from like Big Brother or Survivor recently, like where they have people on the show that get on and they have no idea that the other person that they know is on the season 2. And if it's like a connection, not like Suri and her son, but like exes, that would be so interesting.
Yeah, like in BB4. BB4 was a whole. That was the whole
they
thing.
haven't
It was
done
the next
that in
season.
years.
No, they haven't.
They budget out. They don't.
I think
use
that they're
anymore.
missing the mark. Like they need to do casting twists instead of, oh well, here's your take a dump advantage. You can take a dump on someone and cancel their vote at this next tribal council. Like, just
makes no sense.
Put some bitches in there going through a really bad divorce, and let's see what they do.
That's way more fun than these housewives who are never gonna turn on each other. You know,
Yes.
like damn.
But also, if y'all the challenge Rivals, All Stars Rivals is coming on.
Oh.
So y'all,
Oh yes.
So that's going to be good.
That's good.
And I wish they would do that back with other challenges. So like they used to have the challenge Exit season 1, 2, and 3, the Rivals. So having the All Stars is going to be very interesting to watch. I'm
gonna see that. I'm gonna watch that.
I know about Danielle and her beef with what's his name? Her partner. I don't remember his name.
Shane,
but
I think it was Shane.
Shane, yeah, and Shane was like calling her a bitch. And you don't call Davon a bitch. And then it was I've seen that clip of them at the reunion. So I'm excited to see how they do together.
I think depending on how that rival season goes, if they'll bring that back for other shows. Like I feel like because of budget cuts, they don't do these themes anymore. Like Survivor just being numbered and stuff like that. I really wish that they would bring themes back. Like they need to. Like the audience, they all want themes back. Just bring it back, man. We'll watch the show. The ratings will go back higher. I'm telling you, people still watch television. Like
the
ratings are going low for a reason.
That's another thing. You just reminded me of Davon. Like she would have been better over West or over Derek. Like
1,000%.
Like how fun would that have been?
She'll be on this show at some point. I don't think the question is will she. I think it's when.
When. That's true.
So after so the round table goes on. There's a lot of arguing going on. Robin is fighting for her life. Robin is pretty good at this game. I got to give her credit because the heat was on her really badly. And where we saw someone like Larsa last time kind of sink when the same kind of heat was put on her, you know, Robin kind of rose above it. So the final vote ended up being a close 5-4 to 4, and then a bunch of other number vote between Ivar, Wells, and Robin. And surprise, surprise, Wells is not a traitor. Do you guys think that the way that they were playing that first round, like, do you think that there's anything different that they could have done at that round table?
I don't think so, personally. You're going based off like first impressions and little information. There's really nothing you can possibly do to.
Exactly.
I mean, if your name is thrown out, you're kind of fucked right there. Excuse my French. I feel like that's just literally what it is. Your name is brought out. It's a social dynamic. I forgot what it's called. Like when you hear that person's name, it starts making you think of that person. So I feel like that's what it is. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ivar and Robin continuously just keep getting votes because their names are already thrown out. It's not going to hurt the traitors. It's not going to hurt anyone else. Just keep throwing their names out.
I mean, we saw it with Kate. Her name was tossed out one time, and the whole rest of the season, she kept getting votes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys watch Potomac, Real Housewives of Potomac, but everyone's been saying online, which I agree with, that Robin, she got kind of fired for a reason. She's been such a sleeper, and so to see her so activated in the Traitors, and she's doing a good job. It's kind of what we've been wanting to see from her on Real Housewives, so it's kind of nice to watch.
I've heard that. I heard that she had been fired. Maybe she did this show to maybe get her job back.
Maybe, honestly, maybe. That's a good point.
She's doing better than I expected too. So I didn't know how she was going to come and play, but her on Traitors compared to her on Potomac, girl, where were you on Potomac doing all of this?
Exactly.
So
100%.
I mean, she got my interest. I did not know who she was before she entered this competition, but now I definitely have interest in her. Whereas the other housewives, well, the only one left now is Dolores. I don't really know what Dolores is bringing to the table thus far.
Which sucks because I love Dolores. Dolores is awesome. She was the number one housewife I was the most excited about. It was her, Dorinda, Ayana, and then I forgot her name.
Robin. Yeah, I didn't like
Robin. Yeah, me either. So it's now I'm okay, she's bringing it a little bit.
So the episode ends, and Wells is banished from the competition. Ayan is a fucking wreck that she has lost her in-game boyfriend. Overall, are you guys sad that Wells went home, or are you kind of like, eh?
I watch Bachelors in Paradise, so I'll see him this summer anyways. So I'm not that sad about it. But I felt like he was a good person to let go. He's not a big personality. I don't think he was gonna bring that much to the show, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I'm not from that perspective. I'm not mad about it. What do you guys think?
I didn't really.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, like it didn't feel like a huge loss for Wells going.
He wasn't doing a lot for me. I mean, honestly, there's quite a few people right now that haven't really done anything for me in the game. Like, I don't really know anything about Sierra. Dolores isn't really doing much for me. Nikki, I don't really see anything from Nikki. Sam, the only thing I know about Sam is the Britney Spears shit. So it's like we've got some filler in there that could be chopped. Honestly, even Tom. Like, the only thing about Tom that I'm interested in is his relationship with Chriselle.
Yeah. Oh my God. Tom
So
made better. They're gonna leave in because he just looks like a traitor. I don't know if that makes sense, but right, like he looks like somebody who would just be, I don't know. So I would keep him in just for that. Like, he's easy to just target in a circle.
I think at any point they could just take him out if they really wanted to. I don't even think people really do think he is a traitor. I think that like someone might just want to get rid of him because they just want to get rid of him.
Yeah, I just don't want to see his face anymore.
Or his fucking sweat stains at the breakfast table.
Oh my God.
Yo, yeah.
Sweat. I was like,
bro.
I was like, why are you sweating, dog? It's like 10 in the morning. What are you doing?
I think there's just a breed of men like that, because I had a science teacher in 7th grade, shout out to Mr. Hassett, that every single day would come in wearing Abercrombie and Fitch V-neck shirts, and he'd have sweat pits. And he'd have sweat stains in his pits. We call him Mr. Pitts. And then Tom wears these white t-shirts that easily stain.
Gray.
And then this
Gray's
and then
like the worst.
Yeah, and gray too. It's like, what are you doing? And then the kilts with the knee-high sock. I'm like, it just isn't working for you. Like, is he even Scottish?
No, but I understood why he dressed that way, because the show takes place in Scotland. Like, if I was on the show, I would get into character and probably do something like that. So I understand that outfit, but the other outfits, I'm like, bruh. Like,
but it just
you're
doesn't
a sweaty
fit for
man.
him.
What are you doing?
Yeah. It just doesn't work for him. Like, I appreciate the effort, and it is funny. It is entertaining, but it's just like, Tom, like, get some tips from Bob, like.
Yeah.
Maybe dive into
Or
his
from Alan, man. Alan's always killing it too.
Alan.
Oh
Okay,
my
can we
God,
just
I
take
know.
a second to appreciate Alan? Because
I love him.
Alan deserves that Emmy that he won. Like, he dethroned RuPaul after years of RuPaul being the best host. Alan is just like so on top of it with like everything. Like, fucking no tea, no shade, Mr. B. But you need to take some pointers from fucking Alan, because Alan knows what he's doing.
And he eats every time. Like, I really want Alan just to do every episode just a clip of his outfit, because he eats every time.
He goes all in. Like, honestly, he could have just phoned this in and just collected a check, but like he is so committed. He was not a reality TV fan before this, but I think now he has gotten well versed on it, and he's just like owning it. And I love that he is excited about the game. You can tell that he's very into what they're doing.
Yeah, I love.
What do you guys think about the fact that after they kill someone or murder someone, they don't tell them who the traitors were? I would love to see that reaction of them finding out.
Oh,
Right?
They do that. I think they did that in Canada, right? For Canada, they did
they
that.
did it on Canada.
Somewhere. Yeah, I think that would
on
that's
social
perfect
media.
TV they're missing out on or something. I don't know. I didn't
That would be a
follow that.
good, like, if they can't put it in the show, I think that they could include it in the after show, like, because they did an after show the last 2 seasons.
Oh yeah, or have Alan tell them and have this whole thing. I don't know after. I don't know.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
That would be great.
Yeah, call it like Purgatory or something, where like Alan is sitting there and he's like, "So you're probably wondering, blah 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 blah," and then give them the note and then have them read it, because I think in the UK they do that too at a certain point.
You're probably wondering who plotted your demise.
Yeah.
Who had
God, I love Alan. Alan's
So the
amazing.
episode ends with the reveal that 3 traitors just is not enough this season, and that for the first time in Traitors history, there's going to be 4 traitors all at the same time. And they decided to make Boston Rob the 4th and final traitor. Do you guys think that out of the 3, Rob was the correct choice? And if he wasn't, who would you have chosen between
Wes.
Derek and Wes? Oh,
Wes.
Wes,
I didn't even know who he was, but Derek, no. Derek as a faithful is television. Rob, too obvious. It had to be Wes.
I also think Rob as a faithful would be television. Like, to see him try suss people out, like, he's really good at reading people, and
That is
I would
true.
have loved to see that. Like, it's really obvious that he's just like this villain now. He has all this control, whereas he's already smart enough to have that control as a faithful. I feel like to read people.
He would run the faithfuls like a ship. Like, I got to give Rob credit that I've never considered him a Class A player. I've considered him like a Class B at best. But oh yeah, I mean, like, for me, when I look
Redemption
at
Island
Boston-
was kind of like Derek's baby 16 win, where he was playing
Yeah.
with people with the IQ of mustard instead of ketchup. You know,
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's actually true.
when I look at Boston Rob's history, because I like to look at someone's whole body of work. The first time, he didn't even make it to jury. The second time, the reason that he made it to the final 2 of All Stars was because he had 3 years to form these relationships with the Survivor alums. Because back then there was only 7 seasons, so they were very tight knit. So he made it at the end not because he tricked someone, but because he used the real life relationships to his advantage. That's why he didn't win. Then Hero Villain, he was nowhere near the jury. He got outsmarted by Russell Hantz. Redemption Island, just like Edgar was saying, that was a win handed to him. They literally put him on a team with people that said he was their favorite player. And then Winners at War, again, nowhere near close. And I remember he said something about, oh, well, I never really have a shot because, you know, I am a legend and they're going to take me out. Well, Sandra did pretty damn well.
Yes, she did.
The 2-time winner. Like, she was
true.
She was swap screwed. That was the reason that she went home in Australia, and when she went home on Game Changer, and then 1 vote took her out. So it's like, I don't subscribe to the theory that you can't play these games if you have a reputation. So, but I will give him credit.
True.
Yeah, but
I like that argument.
I will give him credit that I think if he was a faithful, he would be playing pretty good because he handled that round table very well.
He did.
So y'all would have chosen Wes.
Yes. Because I think also Boston Rob and Derek, they're the obvious choice of somebody being a traitor too. But I also wish that they would have like gave them like all a piece of coin or something and make them pick.
Yes.
That would have been great.
Oh,
Yeah.
you see? You should be a producer on this.
You should be a producer, but
Make it random.
Yeah, make it random because like Rob knew going in he was a traitor. So like with him and Alan, so he already knew he was safe. But let's put all 3 of them up. Whoever gets down first, whatever the challenge was, and then let them all pick. And then let's see who was a traitor. And then that gives an element of suspense because we wanted to know until they got in the castle. So I thought they missed the ball on that.
That's pretty good point. I was content with Rob being the choice only because when I look at the dynamic of the traitors, Derek is like watching paint dry. He's boring as fuck. So I did not need him force fed to me for like half the episode. Then when you got Wes, I think Wes has a very similar character to the rest of the traitors. He's very chaotic. So if you were to put him in there, it's just all chaos. And I mean, I love chaos, but I think that Rob does serve as a good foil to the rest of them because Carolyn's strategic, but she's like chaotic strategic. Danielle is very strategic, but I think Danielle is a little off her game, if I'm being honest with you. And then Bob is just Bob. So Rob being in there is a very interesting dynamic. But I do see your guys' point that it is a little too obvious, and a random thing would have made it pretty interesting.
I think if I was a traitor and I saw Rob come in, I would be worried because he's going to be the traitor that that turns against the other traders. Like he's
Mhm.
already
Yeah, that's
seeing
true.
that he doesn't like Danielle and Bob. He's already seeing they're doing too much, and he probably also feels like he can't control them, and that's Rob. Rob's big thing is like he likes to have the control. He likes working
Yeah.
with people who he can control,
Yeah.
and they're not two people that are just gonna roll over.
Mhm.
Like you saw that with Carolyn. Like they did. She
You're
had an
absolutely
opinion.
right.
They're like no. So
You're
And then
absolutely
speaking
right.
of that too, I think Carolyn kind of feels the same way too, where she's like, if I hear their name, I'm not saying anything, because Jeremy was like, hey, watch Danielle,
Oh
and
yeah.
she stood quiet. It was Bob that told Danielle, and when they asked Carolyn, she's like, yeah, you just told me to watch. Like, you know, like Carolyn's kind of like, I kind of watch.
Have y'all
it
noticed
completely.
that like Jeremy and Carolyn seem to have a really good relationship with each other?
Yes.
I like
Yes.
that. I like
Me
it.
too.
Yes, I
like
noticed
it.
that right away. I was like, but Jeremy also outside of the show is just a lovable personality in general.
I like Jeremy.
So
I love him. Yeah.
I think it's easy because he's one of the few, like, I wouldn't say he's an old head because he is like during the 20s and 30s seasons, but
Yeah.
he's one of the older players that actually acknowledges and is very open arms with the new era. So I think that's what it is. You know, a lot of the old heads are like, well, my Survivor was different, 39 days instead of 26, blah, blah, blah. So they usually talk down on the new era, but Jeremy has nothing but high praise for the new era. So I think that makes him more likable, just for the fact that the new era players, you know, if they add more new era players, he would play with them. He doesn't care.
I think Jeremy is a very, well, I wouldn't say he's underrated, but I think Jeremy is kind of an underrated player. In my eyes, he's a legend. You know, he's a Hall of
Yeah.
Famer, in the same vein as Tony and the rest of them. So Boston Rob is in there, and now they have to make a decision on who's the next person. I'm very weak at this.
It's true though. It's true.
So they have to make a decision, and it looks like the show's name has changed from the Traitors to the Housewife Hunters, because they're deciding to kill a second housewife. What did you guys make of that decision?
I'm actually sick of them targeting housewives.
I agree.
It's getting old. Like, okay, we know y'all. It's just old. I'm just sick of it. Like, get off of them. They're women. They're rich women that know how to talk to people, have their own lives. Like, just get off of them. Like, it's getting old.
I agree, and I think subconsciously some of them are afraid to be read for filth at the round table, like Phaedra did with Dan and Phaedra did with Parvati, and they know that they're not as afraid to speak their mind, so they're like trying to, you know, get to that before they start coming after them, you know. But I agree, I hate it.
I will say though, I do think sending home Ian was probably one of the better moves, because I think we said this earlier on that Ian is very clearly not a traitor, but it's kind of like, I think this was a moment where they needed to listen to Carolyn, because Carolyn was trying to tell them, like, look, if we just do another housewife, like, it's not really going to change anything. Like, we need to stir up as much chaos as we possibly can. But it's just like Danielle and Bob don't want to hear it. And I think Rob and Carolyn are smart enough to be like, it doesn't matter if we control this. Like, let's let them have the control and let them bury themselves, basically.
I think that's what Carolyn is doing. I actually have to head out for work, but I will say, my last comment would be, when it comes to Carolyn, I do think personally she's going to be the traitor. If they add traitors later on, I think she's going to be the OG traitor that makes it the furthest, because she's not doing too much. Traitors just have a history of doing too much. Bob already has his name spilled out. Danielle already has her name spilled out. I mean, Rob just got into the game, so I'm not even going to count him. So when you look at that, it's already in a basis. I would be very surprised if she isn't like the last traitor available. I genuinely see her. I know I'm skipping ahead towards the end, but I genuinely see her winning the whole thing. I don't, at this point, too early to tell standings. I don't see a scenario where she loses. I just really don't. People love her. The people that are really smart gamers love her. The genuine people love her. Everyone loves her. So, and like what you had said about her twitchiness and stuff, it's a smokescreen. So she has the smokescreen. She has the brains to play this game. I think Danielle and Bob are definitely underestimating her. She's already playing to the point where you can see that she's willing to turn on a traitor when she needs to. She got it. She got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my last comment.
No, I agree with you. Yeah, I think that you're absolutely right.
But yeah, I hope you guys have a good night.
Me
I will
too.
be tuning in and adding comments while I'm driving to work and stuff like that, but I just can't be on the stream anymore.
Well, thank you so much for coming in, Edgar, and we'll
course,
see you next for episode 4.
Yes, peace.
Bye.
All right, so after everything is said and done, they have decided to murder Ian. So what do we think of this murder? Do we think this was the right decision? Do we think it was the good choice to continue killing the housewives?
It was pointless. It was a wasted murder. Like if they wanted chaos, let's kill off Jeremy. Like let's kill off Tony. Like if we wanted real chaos in the house, if we wanted to really stir up some shit, like let's kill a big name. And then let's have people talking like, oh, why did they kill him? But it just was pointless. And like again, I will repeat, and I'm sick of it. Like, stop killing the housewives. Like I'd rather let the housewives reach off for filth and then kill them every episode.
Yes.
Yep. I agree. I think it was a dumb decision, but if between the housewives left, it was, I think, the smart one, because I think people are already suspecting of Robin. They already mentioned Dolores too. Like at least they're in the mix of people that they might accuse before any other actual traitor. So, yeah, I think it was dumb, but the best of the dumb decision. I don't know.
No, I do agree with you in that regard.
Yeah.
We're just gonna have to see if it works out in their favor or it doesn't. So everyone is pissed that the housewife, well, not everyone, but the housewives are very pissed that it seems like they're getting targeted. Honestly, if I was the housewives, I would be pissed too. It's like, why are you coming after only us? And then at the round table, it's like, okay, our people are getting murdered now. We're getting accused at the round table of doing the killing. And it's like, I don't know. I also think it was a really poor decision on their part, because by killing the housewives only, you're not adding any more suspects to your list. Like killing.
I actually think it.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm so sorry I interrupted you, but I actually think it might help the housewives in the game still, because I don't think they're gonna assume that a housewife is gonna kill 2 back to back. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that they'll think the opposite, but yeah.
No, I agree with you. I mean, it kind of just puts like Robin and Dolores in the clear, because why would they vote off 2 of their allies in the game?
Exactly. So I don't know.
It's really weird. So Carolyn and Jeremy start talking, and as we were saying before, Jeremy throws out Danielle's name as a possibility, and Carolyn's kind of just like, well, good for me, because I already don't really fuck with Danielle, so now, all right, that's good. Danielle's name's on the chopping block. If you guys were traitors, would your strategy be to keep other traitors' name off of other people's mouths, or would you just kind of be like, that's the game, they gotta, let these people get targeted?
I think I would let it be, because I think when people start figuring out who the traitors are, they can always revert back to the conversations you've had. And if you're vouching for other traitors that have gone, they might think that you're a traitor too. I don't know. I think I would just let it be. And unless it started to affect me as a traitor, I don't know. That's a tough one.
A part of me probably would have gave my traitor friend a hint, because like we're kind of in this together, because if they sniff one of us out, and they might end up sniffing the rest of us out.
Yeah.
So I think it was smart that Carolyn didn't say anything, but also dumb too, because if it gets it back to, okay, you knew they were talking about me and you didn't tell me.
True.
Now I'm going to target you and throw your name out there. So I might have said something, just because like we're in this for right now. Maybe down the road, let's turn on each other, but let's not turn on each other 3 episodes in.
It's too early, because I mean, as we saw when Dan got knocked out, Phaedra had to fight for her life for the rest of the game, and Parvati didn't even make it past like one more banishment. So I do agree with you on that. It's just a little too early. But again, if Carolyn was to start defending Danielle, it could have put a target on her.
Yeah.
So the next game is the carnival mission. I didn't entirely understand like how much money was up for grabs if they finished this one.
I thought it was 10, but don't quote me on that.
I don't remember either, but it's basically like a maze, and each time you do the maze, you learn more information, or at least you should learn information. But if you go early, it's kind of like the first game where you're putting yourself at risk because you're probably not going to win a shield. Everyone else that gets to the end does get a shield. So immediately everyone is just like talking about, well, I don't want to go last. I want, I mean, I don't want to go first. I want to make sure I go last. And it's like the same people. Once again, you got Lord Ivar in there. You got Tony in there. Just being like, I don't want me and my partner to have to go last. But this time, big old Bob Harper has got something to say because he goes toe-to-toe with Mr. Vlachos, and he's not happy. Do you guys think that, what did you guys think of this?
It reminded me about the boat because it was like nobody wants to go and nobody wants to get off the boat either. So are we just going to all sit here like sitting ducks, or are we going to play the game? And I feel like everybody is titter-tatting. Like if we want to play the game for real, or we want to play it safe. And right now everybody's playing it too safe. Like everybody's not going to get a shield. So let's get in here. Let's do the damn challenge and let's get on.
I agree with that. But at the same time, imagine if you're like a faithful and you're always trying to convince people that you're not a traitor. If you act like you don't need a shield, you're like, I'll go first. I don't need this shield that much. They're probably going to assume, okay, they feel safe. They feel too safe. So I think there is also an element of, you also have to pretend like you need a shield. And that's probably what everyone's trying to do. Both try and get a shield, but also like play off that they need the shield at the same time.
It's crazy. It's crazy because when you look at Janelle last season, they voted her off, even though she always wanted to shield. So I'm starting to think that there might be a little element of maybe if people see you as a greedy faithful, that sometimes they may just not give a fuck if you are a traitor or not, because you're being greedy and not helping the group.
Yeah,
that's true.
And that whole challenge was a waste. Like they got no money.
Yeah,
I know.
I will say the challenge was kind of funny to watch because after they did figure out their groups, like what group was it where they didn't even know what door they went through the same door as the
that was one so stupid. I can't remember, but I thought that was so dumb.
That was so funny. It's like really, like.
So no, you can go. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. I didn't understand why. Oh, it was Bob Harper that did that. Oh my God, Bob. I didn't understand why they didn't just do, okay, door number 1, door number 2. Like, let's all agree to do doors from the left, because that would have been simple. You just do first door from the left, second door from the left. They were making it too complicated with like the colors.
Yeah, it was too complicated, and then they clearly don't know their colors because black. I was like, that's not black, that's dark blue. Like the colors was just off. I'm like, y'all are grown as hell. How do y'all not know your colors?
You know what they say, once an adult, twice a child. And I think we got a bunch of children running on this in the Traitors Castle.
Yep.
So they do the game. I thought that the clowns was very funny as well. I gotta say, I gotta give it up to them. Like their challenge design this season is pretty good. I enjoy it.
I agree.
So they walk away with no money. They don't complete the mission. None of them have shields, and they're all up for grabs. And the discussion, because of Dylan Efron, has now shifted to Bob the Drag Queen. This is the second time that Dylan Efron has been throwing a name out there. The first time was when he put Tom's name out there to Chriselle. Now it's going after Bob. That's crazy.
And it's also crazy to me that him and Danielle were close. And now that he didn't tell Danielle about Bob the Drag Queen, that was kind of suspicion to me. Like, okay, is he really that close to Danielle? Like I thought he was.
Maybe not. That was going to be Danielle's Jason 2.0. Now I'm not so certain. What do you guys think of Dylan Efron?
He's so cute.
Oh, Sophie, we can't hear you. I think the traitors hacked into her camera.
They're listening to us.
They probably are. Don't you know they're always watching?
They are.
What about now? Can you hear me now?
Oh, now we can.
All right, cool. No, I was just saying, like, Dylan Efron is like amazing in a lot of different ways, but he was reminding me of Pilot Pete a little bit.
Yes.
Right? Like he's not like afraid. He's just a faithful of all faithfuls. He's not afraid to say who he thinks is a traitor. And at this point, I feel like guys like him, once they're kind of on the nail like he is with Bob, he's not gonna get killed right away because it'll be too obvious, and they'll go after Bob, knowing that he's the one who kind of died on the sword, that Bob was a traitor. So
yeah, I actually think that he's a good example of how you should be playing the game as a faithful. So many of these faithful, like Brittany, just don't want to say jack shit because they're so nervous about a target being on their back. But it's like, if you're a faithful, you guys should be throwing names out there. Like, you should be trying to figure out who this is. And if you shouldn't be afraid of making a mistake, because if you don't make mistakes, how the fuck are you going to find a traitor?
Right.
Yeah.
So we get to so before we get to the round table, Bob finds out from, what was that little girl's alliance called again?
The Bambies.
The Bambies. The Bambies hop on over and let Bob know that Dylan Efron is he said what's that song from High School Musical where it was like, oh, Dylan Efron got his head in the game, like Troy Bolton, and he's coming from Bob the Drag Queen. So there's other drama going on too, where Tony's name is starting to float around quite a bit, because despite Rob giving him a shield, like Tony's not really doing enough socializing with people in the competition. So how did you guys think the round table was going to go before we actually got to the round table?
I thought what I thought was going to happen happened. Bob the Drag Queen went off. Like, don't fucking put my name out there, which I love, because as a faithful, that's what I would have did. Like, don't put my name out there. Like, I'm a faithful. I'm one of you. I'm one of you. So I think he really played the part good. So it was also, but Dylan didn't back down. And I like that he didn't back down. Like, no, I still think you're a traitor. I'm going to tell people that I think you're a traitor, and that's it. Like, if you're not, I'm sorry, but this is what I feel. And so I like that Dylan stood up for himself, because I feel like other people would have been like, okay, well, my bad, I'm sorry, just because he's a big personality, and Dylan didn't do that.
I love how he was like, your drag name should be Misguided. Like, welcome to the show, Misguided. I died when he
Do we want to take a look at that clip?
Sure. Yes.
This was one of my favorite moments from the entire first 3 episodes. It was so good.
What would me killing Ian benefit me? In what way? What is the evidence? How does it make sense? I've always said this: if one person can make a puzzle, someone else can figure it out. So solve the puzzle. You're throwing all the pieces at us and telling us to fix it. You just came in here with a 1,000-piece puzzle, dumped it on the table, and told us to put it together. And then you get to come at the end, cover it in glue, and put it up on your wall and say you did it. You're a mess.
All those points that you just made about Tony being a good choice from Alan worked for Bob the Drag Queen. Absolutely.
Get off my back.
It's true. You command this room. You're an amazing actor. You are.
So you're telling me because I would be good at it, that's just so now you're reading Alan's mind.
I'm saying that's exactly what she said about Tony.
I've been quiet for like 10 minutes now. Which is hard for me. And I don't even think you're a traitor, but you are misguided. That should be your drag name. Welcome to the stage, Misguided.
Oh my God. I felt like I was watching an episode of Sibling Rivalry, which is his podcast with Monet. I love Bob. Bob was such a good choice.
You know that Dylan Efron in his bio now says misguided?
Yes, I did see that. That is
On
so
Instagram.
funny. I appreciate when someone can, kind of take the piss out of themselves and not take themselves too seriously. That's good. I like that.
Yeah. And I like their little moment after the roundtable too. They seem to I don't know, hash it out.
Yeah. I like when people can, I don't want to say get nasty because I don't think that they were nasty, but I like when people can be passionate about the game, go in it, duke it out. And then when it's all said and done, it's not like, oh, you attacked me. Oh, you bullied me. Oh, you're a bad person. It was, this is the game and we're coming after each other. And there's nothing wrong with that,
Exactly.
You used the right word, passionate, because in that moment you could tell like Bob the drag queen was passionate, like get the fuck off my back, but also in the same sense, like Dylan was like, hey bro, it's the game.
Yeah.
So like what you want me to do? So I really like that whole interaction was great. Like great.
I thought his metaphor was perfect too. Like there's a ton of times that we've seen in the show where people are like just throwing bullshit out there, but they don't actually want to like prove it. They're just like, oh, well, this is what it is. So you guys put it together for me. Like, honestly, if I was in the game, I would believe Bob is a faithful.
Me too. And I would also be scared to throw his name out after how he came at Dylan about it. He kind of scared people off of his back a little bit.
Yes.
Because he made great points. Like,
yeah, he did. He's so good.
He's great. Bob was a really good choice for this season. So, and I kind of loved how Bob and Robin were like tag teaming.
Yeah.
This round table. It was pretty good. They were going in on Tony and who else were they going in on? And then Bob was trying to get on Ivor towards the end of it. And then you had Bob Harper out of nowhere going in on Tony. Like, I don't know, just saying like that these are people are interacting with each other is just so funny. Because who would have ever thought that Bob Harper is interacting with fucking Tony Vlachos from Survivor?
Literally. Amazing.
Did you guys have a favorite moment from the round table besides Bob and Dylan's little pop-off moment?
I like it.
Oh, you can go. No, I actually don't even. I'm trying to think out loud. So you go.
I do like how Boston Rob had the Traitors back.
Yes.
By throwing Tony's name out there. So I thought that was smart on his part. And also he was 100% right. Like he didn't talk to him. So it would make me think if I'm a faithful, well, he gave you a shield and you're not talking to him. So did you think that you were automatically safe? Like, because I would say thank you. Like, how are we going to get it? Like, how are we going to move forward in the game? But instead, I took it and I didn't say anything. So he kind of put a target on his back, but that was also Boston Rob like playing the game too.
Yeah.
Rob really killed it. Like, I was very impressed with him at this round table because I think Bob was in the clear regardless because of his relationships with the Deers and with the Housewives, on top of having the Traitors with him. So I don't think that Bob was in any real danger. But Rob basically cleared his name in that moment by, backing him up and going against Tony. And it was crazy because I wasn't really expecting that from Rob. I was like, okay, Rob, go for it.
I kind of thought it was not my favorite because I honestly felt bad for Tony when he left and he said like you're a sellout. I felt really bad for him. I don't know why. Like, do you think those were genuine tears? I think that they were. It was fine.
I think so too. I think that Tony takes these things very personally. I mean, we've only seen him lose one other time, and I remember when he lost the first time on Game Changers, he had a little bit of a moment with Sandra too, where he was like sheep being led to the slaughter. Good job, Sandra. And they got into a little like argument. It kind of reminded me of that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And also like Tony is a gamer. Like he lives for this, and he did not expect himself to get out this early either too.
No,
so
I mean,
I think like he was really passionate. So
he's a two-time winner.
Yeah.
And for Rob to kind of put the nail in the coffin too. I think that made a huge difference. I think Rob saying what he said kind of did that.
Because they have a camaraderie. They've known each other in the community for a very long time.
Yeah.
So.
And
Let's
it's funny that she said nail in the coffin, because wasn't that the name of the episode? Nail in the coffin.
It was nail in the coffin.
Oh my God. Wait, that's crazy. Maybe it was like a subconscious thing.
Let's take a look at the moment where Tony's demise was finalized, where his nail in the coffin was put in.
Tony, I voted for you. I feel like I can't trust you. I'm sorry.
Tony, I voted for you.
Tony, I voted for you.
I voted for Tony.
And with the final vote, Gabby.
Tony, with the compounding evidence of tonight and just the rationale of your defense, you didn't change my mind.
Crazy.
Tony, please come forward to the circle of truth.
Oh, man.
Tony, before you leave my castle forever, please reveal to us. Are you a faithful or a traitor?
Guys, I just want to say, the relationships, the bonds, genuine, sincere. I'm faithful.
Jeremy.
You're a sellout, bro.
That was like crazy how intense that moment was. Like, I got to give shout out to the editors. That was really good. The music, the faces, like, it was pretty intense.
I didn't notice, like, watching it, that Caroline was crying so much. This is my first time seeing Caroline cry. I was like, oh yeah, that is hard.
I was shocked because she said in the very beginning that she wanted him to go.
Yeah, I watch her podcast though with Carson, and she's such a big fan of Survivor. Like, she has so much respect for all these players. I think that coming in as a new era, the only new era player playing with these old school ones, she was super excited to play with them. And then her being a traitor, knowing he was a faithful, going out as a faithful, she probably felt some sort of guilt as well. So I think that's where the emotion might be coming from.
Yeah, because these are legends that she's with. Like, they're all winners at war, icons. You know, Hall of Famers.
It's crazy.
I wish that she was a winner too. I thought that she deserved it her first go around.
I agree.
But yeah, it was a near unanimous vote. The only the only name that I remember did not vote for whatchamacallit for Tony was Bob. What did y'all think of Bob's little hinky vote on Ivar?
Like, I don't care what the hell these people say, I'm still voting for you.
That's crazy. Like. And I don't know if that's like makes it, because on paper that would make him look like a traitor to like go against the group. But I mean, his rationale was like pretty simple. He's like, Ivar, you are my target. I think you're a traitor, or you're just not a useful faithful. And I think that's a very good rationale.
Yeah, it is. And if he keeps doing that the whole season, it's gonna put the target on Ivar's back bigger and bigger every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm surprised that Ivar is just taking it on the chin the way it is. If I was Ivar, I'd be like, what the fuck did I do?
Yeah. You gonna stop coming for me? Like, do you have a problem?
Yeah. So poor Tony, he walks out the door. Rob sitting in his sellout era. And the traitors have to do another plain sight murder. But this time it's a little different. I actually really like this twist. I think number one, it gives the opportunity for there to be more episodes because this season has 12 episodes instead of last season's 11. So there's a possibility that the murder may fail. I don't think it will fail. I think they'll be able to do it, but it could fail. And I like that not every episode, you know, they can just say, oh, we're murdering this person. Like, make them work for it. Make them do something a little different. What do you guys think of this twist?
It was interesting. They executed it poorly, though.
Very poorly. I agree.
Like all of them in the cellar at the same time. That's so obvious. And Caroline running back and forth, like it was so cringy. I was like, "What are y'all like?" And y'all were gone for so long. Like,
I don't know why they needed all four of them in there. Like, just send one person in there to do it, and
Or
then like
two at a time or something. I don't know.
and then like have someone out there. Like, the three of them could have had a conversation outside of the cellar. And then you have one person in there, and then you could have had like someone let you know when it's good for you to come out. Because we saw at the end of the episode, I think that Robin walks into them. Was it Robin or was
No,
it?
it was Gabby. It was the Bachelorette, Gabby.
Oh, Gabby. Yeah, Gabby walks into them right as they're all coming out, and it's like that looks hella sus. You know?
What happens at that point if she literally catches 2 or 4 of the traitors? Like, what do you do at that? Is the show over? Like, how do they handle that?
Then they're all gonna get banished like one after another, and then eventually they're gonna have to recruit new ones.
Yeah. Or do you think they just did that for suspense and she doesn't actually catch them?
I have no idea, you know, but she's not the sharpest tool in the shed, so she may catch them and be like, oh, okay, hey.
But that was the second time somebody walked in the bar room and didn't see him. But also they were loud.
Yeah.
Like that thing just pissed me off because they're just dumb in that moment.
Yeah.
Is that secret door, like, do they all know about that secret door, or do only the traitors know about it?
I think everybody does.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't because if no one knows about the secret room but the traitors, then they look hella fucking sus. But if everyone knows about it, then I don't think it's as big a deal.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that Danielle and Carolyn were trying to make it look like they were drinking and they were like, you know, having a good time. I don't know though. Like,
I kind of like the last season's how Parvati had someone drink, or Ekin-Su drink the drink and then that person died. I thought that was cooler.
Yeah.
Like killing someone in plain sight. But
this one, I'm going to have to wait to see what the actual nail in the coffin looks like how that plays out before I make my choice. But I do agree with you, at least like the opening bit, like, yeah, it was a little more interesting having to give someone a poisoned cup, especially a really gross, rusty looking poison cup. I don't know how she got Ekin-Su to do that shit.
I know. They definitely couldn't do that again though, because everyone there had watched that season. So no one's going to drink out of a dumb cup, you know? So I guess
they're not going to be able to do that again.
Yeah.
So that's basically the end of the episode. They were struggling a little bit to see who to put on. I don't remember who were the names that they were saying they wanted to put on the list.
They didn't give it. I don't think they gave it to us.
No.
I don't think so either.
What do you guys think about Bob wanting Carolyn to be one of them?
So yeah. I was like, that's not going to work. Like, if you watched Carolyn's season, which I'm assuming Bob didn't watch it, like,
No, I think so.
when they tried making Carolyn the decoy vote, Carolyn flipped on them and Sarah got sent home.
Yeah.
Carolyn's not someone that you can, you know, do something like that to.
No.
And like y'all said before, they're really underestimating Caroline, and Caroline is really gonna, like Edgar said, I think she's gonna come back and win the game. Like, if she keeps playing it how she's playing it. And also again, it's too early to put other traders on the chopping block. Like,
Too early.
Stop.
There's like 20 something of you in the game. Like, if you're gonna put someone on there, like, that draws attention to all 3 people that are on that list, and one of them is going to die. So the other 2 are now in the spotlight. And it's like, what I could easily see the 2 people that survive, one of them getting banished in the next like 1 or 2 banishment ceremonies.
For sure. I agree too.
Yeah.
I think as a faithful too, I would assume one of the 3 in the coffin were a traitor. So I wouldn't put any of the traitors in the coffin yet. There's so many people still in the house. Alicia said let people assume it's one of the 3 and it not actually be any traitors in the coffins.
Well, especially when you hear how the person gets killed, like the way they get it killed is they're in the coffin and the person has to put the nail in the coffin without being spotted. Like if you were a traitor, I mean, the mindset could be that maybe the other 2 are both traitors. So that way you're guaranteed for you to not be found out.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Because it could be done that way.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm excited.
So me too. I'm so excited. I hate that it's once a week.
Yeah. Like just drop the whole season. Come on now.
Is that how you guys feel about Beast Games? Having to wait every week?
Well, I don't care as much anymore because I'm not in it.
What about you, Morgan?
Yeah, I'm not in it either. I got out during the blocks. So that was episode 1. I got out.
Oh, you were episode 1.
Yeah, like, and it's funny because one of my friends paused it at 17 minutes and 35 seconds to see me get out. So yeah, I just want to know who won at this point.
You still have friends on there, like both of you? Do you guys have?
I have a lot. Yes. Well, what's crazy is that I fully was supposed to be on the island. I got to episode 4, and I did the timer game because I thought no one would pick me. If I had known that the very next game was a survivor challenge where you're balancing the ball, bro, I've practiced that a million times for survivor, and I've lasted an hour doing it. So I could have won it for my team, but the team I would have ended up with was Mia's team, the girl that's competing for the island right now. They were struggling to find people, and so I know I was supposed to be on their team because my alliance at that point was done with me. They already had 6 people, so they would not have had me. So I know that I would have been with Mia's team, and they made it to the island. So it's like I would have been top 60, and honestly, I would have been good if I got to top 60. That would have been like, all right, if I don't win, this made it worth it. This experience was worth it. But so it's a little hard for me to want to watch the show when I know that I should be and could be in the top 60, now top 50.
Can I ask you both something?
Yeah.
Would you guys have competed for the island?
No, not a chance in hell.
I mean, I'll say no, but I mean, you never know what you're gonna do. Like, I mean, from home, I would have told you I never would have done the timer game, but when you're there, like you do shit that you don't intend to. But I do think I wouldn't have, just because they did have time to like take a break. Like, you know, they stayed in the hotel overnight. They got time to chill. They had to fly to Panama. So there was a lot of time to like decompress and really think about the game and, you know, get out of the paranoia and the stress of you're going to go home. And that would have been game changing, especially for me, that like someone that just got off of 4 hours of 2 people trying to like force me into quitting. So,
that's crazy.
But I would say I wouldn't have competed for it.
Damn, that's so cool that you guys got to be on that. That's so cool. Like,
well, hopefully it's not the last time, but
right. Hopefully we're on that other show, but overall, like the experience was amazing. Like I would go back in a heartbeat, and I've always said that.
Yeah, that's me too.
Really? Did you guys like Mr. Beast? Did you get to talk to him or anything?
I did, and I think he's a really good guy. I think that he gets a lot of shit. I think maybe he doesn't know how to talk with people as like I think he's a little socially awkward. But I mean, I had a good experience with him. He was very kind to me. Like I was talking to him in a really bad moment and he didn't bring the cameras over. He didn't put a mic on me. Like he didn't take advantage of me in that moment. He just like talked with me and I really appreciated that.
Same. Like he's genuinely a good person. Like before this, I never heard of him. Like and it's surprising. Like never heard of him. I had applied for another show and this guy was like, hey, apply for this show as well. And so I was like, okay. And I got a call the next day. So I was like, who the hell is this Mr. Beast guy? Let me go Google him. And then I was like, oh, okay, Mr. Beast. So And I'm like, now I'm a huge fan. Like, I'm buying lunch leaves, I'm buying Feastables, buying everything Mr. Beast.
Yeah, did you see the most recent video? It's like he gave all these people in like these in a third world country prosthetic legs that needed it.
Yeah, I did see that. That was really great. Like,
That's
it's
amazing.
like how do you hate someone that does something like that?
Right.
Exactly.
I think people, honestly, I think the people that are saying bullshit about him are people that are mad that they lost. Like, I got to give you credit, Morgan, for having the attitude that you have when you did go home the first episode. I know a lot of people that went home the first episode or went home before Vegas that are saying the whole show was luck, it was unfair, Mr. Beast rigged it, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, from being there, nothing was rigged. The only thing I guess I could say is that maybe they didn't entirely have shit figured out, but also it's season 1. Like, when they did Survivor, they didn't have everything figured out. The first season of Big Brother, they didn't even have an HOH or a power of veto. So it's like, when you sign up for the first season of a show, you got to expect that it's not going to be fully realized yet.
Right, sure.
But I thought every game was fair. Like, I mean, honestly, the only challenge that I could, if people were upset about, I could see is maybe episode 1 when we had to sacrifice in those big 80-person rows, because you can't control that. You know,
Right.
that was kind of luck, but everything else, like, you always picked what team you were on. I picked in the tower game, I picked my team because I knew who they were. I knew they were very strong, so I knew whatever game we did, we were going to win.
What
And
game
then,
did you do finally? Which one? I was always trying to look for you.
what game did I lose?
No, which game did you do in the tower?
Oh, I did the orange. I was on orange team for trivia.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought.
Tawana was my captain. You can see her and I talking actually during one of the scenes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was my ride or die. I love Tawana, and she was in LA, so I checked in with her, and she's doing all right from the fire.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I honestly, the only thing that I'm upset about is that I didn't get to spend more time with people in the game, because they developed really close friendships on the island. Like, again, I really think if I had just done the island and gotten that like 4-day vacation, the whole show would have been worth it.
Yeah.
Even if you don't win.
Well, I was gonna ask you, how long was both of your experience, like in total?
Vegas was about a week, and then Toronto, I was there for like 2.5 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Toronto, I was there for exactly a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's a long time.
Yeah, because episode one took like 3 days to film, and then we had like 3 days before the show where we were driving up from Buffalo to Toronto, and then we stayed in the hotel, and then the city we had like 1 day off. I wish we had. I think that we were supposed to have more time off, but it's just it was taking so long to film things because people were like, it took so long to rally the contestants together.
I'm sure 2,000 people.
Things went a lot faster once we got to episode 3 and episode 4.
Yeah, I'm sure less people.
Yeah, it was a lot smoother. But
Let me ask you this, Dylan. So
yeah.
Personally, I liked how our living arrangements were in Vegas, because we had all the time to mingle, talk, and all of us were there. When we got to Toronto, we were all split up.
Yeah, we were.
New alliances, you had to meet new friends. Would you have wanted that same Vegas lifestyle, or did you like the Canada lifestyle?
It was a good thing and a bad thing. It was a good thing because I wasn't with anyone from my Vegas alliance. Like, I was with all the Squid Game people. The only one I was with was Dan. So it kind of gave me the freedom to talk to other people without worrying about my alliance thinking I was, spreading apart from them. Because one thing I was critiqued about in the game from both of my alliances was talking to everybody. But it's like, there's like 50 people, there's like 500 people in this competition. I'm going to talk to as many people as I can. And that was what worked for me. That was what was going to carry me through the rest of the game. So I did like it in that vein. But what I will say is that I kind of wish the conditions were a little worse, because I think more people would have quit. And I know I wouldn't have quit for anything. So I wanted it to be just as hard as Vegas so that people were ready to bow out.
Same. I'm sorry, I have a cough and a cold that I'm not rid of yet. But also, like with me during the block challenge, I knew the people, like I got to know the people around me, but I know if I was with my alliance, some of my alliance members, they would have helped me out because they knew one thing I was terrible at. Like I was out puzzles from the jump when we met in Vegas. I was like, please don't give us a puzzle because I'm going to screw it up. So me getting up and screwing it up I was devastated.
So did you drop yours or you didn't do it in time?
Yeah, I didn't do it in time. So mine fell with like seconds left. And I didn't have to stack all 15 back up in the allotted time. So I ended up getting eliminated.
Yeah, if yours had just stayed up and you had gotten to 0 seconds, then you would have been safe. Because my neighbor next to me, his fell as soon as it hit 0 seconds. For me, I got my tower done with like 30 seconds left. My blocks almost fell off my platform, actually. Luckily for me, they fell in the cubby. So I didn't really know my neighbors around me at that time. But I spent those 2 days before the block game making those relationships. And the only reason I survived was my neighbor Michelle killed the challenge. She was done within like 5 minutes. So I asked her, how did you do what you did? And she literally gave me instructions on what to do. She said, put that block together, make little diamonds. And then my tower stayed up the whole 4 hours that we were waiting. It never fell.
Damn, that's a long time.
Yeah, but my social game is what saved me. I would not have won that game. It was my social game that got me through that.
Yeah.
So based on who you guys, if you guys know people left, as you said you did, who should I root for? Because I know who I'm not rooting for. I hate those brothers. I want those brothers to go out.
Yeah.
I want something bad to happen to them. I don't know why.
They suck. When we were on trivia together, they were saying, we're the Habibis. All of you are Habibis with us now. We're a family. And it's like, I don't trust anyone that brings religion into a game. But I'm going to tell y'all, root for Tawana, who turned down the $1 million.
Oh, yeah.
Root for Brittany, a.k.a. Queen, who she's tried sacrificing, but then it wasn't. Yeah.
Yes.
Those were my top two.
Well,
we had a final 3 in the game.
Really?
Yeah, we had a final 3. And I think I was supposed to be there.
In that box with them, the box with the handcuffs, they were in the same room. I remember
they wanted me to be with them, but I said no. I said something doesn't feel right, and I stuck with my my group. I didn't want to be with them because I knew we were going to go against each other.
Oh, that's good. That's smart.
And then we all survived it. So it's like I really think I was supposed to get through, and then we would have stuck together from the island moving forward. But I would root for them. Akira's really strong. He won it for his team. I don't know what his number is, but he won the ball game for his team. I love Mia, the girl competing for the island. Who else would I say root for? Old guy Dino is the last guy standing for my Vegas alliance. So
I like him.
Yeah, you could root for him. I love Dino. He was honestly the only one for my alliance I trusted.
Yeah, I want to ask you guys, would you have pressed the button for the $1 million? I would have done it.
I kind of regret not volunteering myself because I think there was a shot that maybe I could have gotten it because I got Tawana to be our captain. I volunteered her.
Oh, really?
And then I fought for her to get votes, and I convinced people to drop out so she would be our leader.
Damn.
Like,
so who knows?
And in the game, that would have been a game changer. So yeah, we would have off.
I mean, it would have sucked for me because I would have lost all of my allies, but I had allies on other teams. So, but it's like $1 million, and I would have waited till it hit $1 million because I knew Dino and Jeremy weren't pressing it. The only wild card was Harrison, but if I would have watched Harrison and seen he's not pressing it, as soon as it hit $1 million, I would have went bam. And it's like, and then I probably would have went home the next game on
also,
sacrifice.
You're eliminating a ton of people from your own competition to go forward. I don't know.
1/4 of the game, you're knocking out 1/4. Honestly, if someone had taken it, I think my chances of getting on a helicopter would have skyrocketed. The only reason I competed was because there were so many people left. I was like, my chances are so low of getting on a helicopter.
Yeah.
Like in reality, it was a 50-50 shot because a bunch of people got themselves knocked out in bribes and other games. But with if there was 60 people less, we probably would have only had 100 going into the helicopters. And if I'm only battling 40 people for a spot, I knew my social game was better than most people. So I knew I would have gotten a seat from someone.
That's crazy.
During the games, OMG.
Yeah. I think that you would have been great in the games, Morgan. And you would be good in it too, Sophie, if you apply for the second one.
Do you think they'll do a second one?
Definitely.
Yeah, he will. It's the #1 show right now.
Yeah.
Like
So
he
good. Yeah, he does have to. I'm shocked that every episode is like better than the next one or the one before.
Yes.
It's crazy.
I think that he's listening and he's improving each one. I think they're editing it in real time.
I so too, honestly, because we don't get clips of the next episode.
No, we have no idea. I know a lot of what happens later on in the competition because
you do?
Well, yeah, because I know people that are all the way in the very end. I mean, a lot of my allies are still in the game, but I'm obviously not going to share any of it because
don't
NDA, and also they trusted me enough to tell me. So I'm keeping everything to myself. There's people that are in the that were, in the competition too that have no idea because people were very good at staying tight-lipped about
That's
stuff.
good.
So what I'm gonna say is that it's really good, and the games moving forward, they're really good. The episodes are gonna be really good. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I second Dylan. And then 8-5.
But this was so fun talking about the Traitors with y'all, and we can definitely talk about these games as well when next episode comes out.
Yeah.
I think a good way to end this episode is to look back on who we've got left in the game and play a little game called Bitter or Better. So so what we're going to do is we're going to look at everyone that is still in the competition, and we can either put them in the better category or the bitter category. Now, better means that we appreciate their presence on the show and we like what we're seeing. Bitter is like, you can go home next. You're not really doing anything for me. And, this can be whatever this could be based on entertainment, or this could be based on gameplay. So let's go through it. So let's start off with Bob Harper. What do we think about Bob Harper?
Better.
Yeah. She froze.
Oh, say that. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my computer is so weird. So what do we think about Bob Harper?
I think bitter, no?
Better.
Oh, really? Wait. So what does better mean? Like they're doing well, or?
Better means that we enjoy them on the show, or we think that they're playing a good game. Bitter is like they're not really doing a whole lot in the show, or we think that they're terrible. They're doing a bad job.
Okay. I guess I'll let one of you guys, because I really don't have an opinion. I'm pretty indifferent with him right now.
Honestly, like I wasn't really feeling him the first 2 episodes, but this last episode, I really did start to appreciate him. Like the way he called Tony out was really fucking funny.
Yeah,
and then I thought back to the first episode where he was one of the people that was like, I don't want to be a part of a sausage fest. So I'm kind of leaning in favor of Bob Harper. What do you think, Morgan?
I think better as well, just because how he stood up in the third challenge. I was like, okay, he got, that's where he earned my vote there, because he spoke up. So I think he's better. I feel like as time goes, he's going to bring more entertainment.
I agree with that. So let's put him in the better category. Next up is Bob. I think this is obviously a better. I mean, I think we can all agree with that.
Yeah, 100%.
He is giving everything. He's playing a good game. He's entertaining. And I'm looking forward to seeing him last as long as he can. I don't know about winning the whole show, but definitely needs to be there for a long time. Next is Brittany. What do we think about Brittany so far?
I would say bitter. A little, like just because she hasn't really done much. Bitter.
Yeah.
That's all.
Agreed.
I can see that. Yeah, she's playing very scared. Like we're getting some good confessionals out of her, but she's very like hesitant to really make her presence known. Like I haven't seen the Brittany that I've seen on Big Brother in this game just yet.
I do think as it dwindles down, though, she'll be a big presence, like because there'll be less people, and she is a big personality. So, I mean, and a lot is happening while she's taking a back seat. So it's not like she's taking away from the show at all. She's just like not doing anything at the moment.
She's waiting it out. And I will say, like, the one thing that I do think is funny about her is that she is just out unabashedly being selfish. She's like, I want to be last in this carnival game because I need a shield. I am not getting off this boat for anything. I want a shield. I'm not throwing anyone's name out there. I don't want to be banished. I think it's I kind of commend it.
Yeah, that's true.
Next is Carolyn. Again, easily a better. She's bringing a lot to the show, and as we were discussing, she's probably playing the best traitor game thus far.
Agreed. I think so too.
What do you think, Morgan?
Agreed. Like right now, Carolyn's the one to beat. If she plays a flawless game, how she's been playing so far these past 3 episodes, she is going to be really hard to beat her.
Yeah. Then we've got Ion. What do we think about Ion's run on the Traitors overall?
I really want to say, but I don't want y'all to hate me.
Did you say bitter or better? Yeah. Bitter. I mean, I liked her outfits. I liked what she wore, but I mean, I
agree with y'all. Like, I think that she had potential if she lasted a little longer, but I mean, she had some funny moments, but it's just that she didn't bring a whole lot to the table just because she didn't last that long.
Yeah.
And her game was very bad. Like, I can't lie. Yeah. Next is Chrishell. I like what Chrishell's bringing to the table. She hasn't brought a whole lot, but like then again, I think just her rivalry with Tom is enough for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I appreciate her. Next is Sierra. I gotta say, I don't even know who she is. They've barely shown her thus far.
So yeah, I watched the show she comes from, and she's kind of a secondary character on that one too. But really? She is a badass, like in her own right. Like I think she's a Victoria's Secret model now because she's so stunning. Like you guys should see her on her show. Like she doesn't stand out obviously in this group of people because her show is smaller. But she is a badass, and like I think she's another one. Like might maybe be like a dark horse because she doesn't have this gameplay background, and she's also she speaks her mind. So I don't see her being someone who just like coasts either. Like she'll say when she thinks someone's being sus. Yeah. So I think right now maybe bitter, but I do see her getting like better as the season goes on.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So should we just put her in here for now?
Yeah, bitter for now.
A controversial one. What do we think of Danielle?
Her game right now is trash.
Yeah,
I would agree.
She's doing too much. Too much.
Helping her game right now. So let's put her at bitter because she's not bettering herself.
Yeah,
I can agree with that.
Me too. I think she's gonna have a similar trajectory as Dan did. Like she came in too hot and she's doing too much, and she's confident that she's just like really good at these games, and it's just not Big Brother. So
I think that confessional that Carolyn did is like kind of foreshadowing for what's to come.
I agree.
Yeah. Then we've got Dolores. I mean, Dolores is just not bringing anything right now. Like, no. I would put her in bitter as well. It's just there's not a whole lot going on with her.
Agreed.
Besides the every time a housewife gets eliminated, she picks up their picture.
Yeah, that's right. She did do that. I thought that was funny.
Oh my god, I died when Alan goes, Ayan was a housewife of Dubai by now or something like that. He's so funny.
That was really funny. I love Alan so much.
I know. He's hilarious.
Dorinda. I mean, we didn't see a whole lot of Dorinda, but I will say I was entertained by her. I was very entertained.
You would have loved her if you don't watch that New York. She's so good.
I believe it. I would put her in better. What do y'all think?
Same. Yeah. She started the pot. So
yeah. And she was there for 5 seconds and she had an argument with somebody. So like we got to give her some credit.
And I think we're going to see the impact of what happened between her and Ivor. I think that's going to last for a while on the show.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Dylan Efron definitely is going to be a better. I think we can all agree on that.
For sure.
Playing a good, faithful game. I mean, he's being a little reckless, but I think that's how you should approach the game.
Yeah.
And also, like, better for just, like, the little clips of him shirtless in the bathroom. Like, Who's responsible for that so I can thank them?
It's so funny. I think I saw a tweet like that too. That just was
Really?
compiling compiling the pictures. That they knew what they were doing. That
Oh, yeah.
producer. That is so funny.
I
Oh
know.
my god. I guess it runs in the family, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Then we've got Gabby. You know, Gabby didn't have all that much presence on the show, but like when I think about it, even though she didn't have any big moments, she was very consistently shown to us. And she's kind of like the leader of the Bambis. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I could see her going far as a faithful, like just going under the radar, people not assuming she's a traitor. And
yeah,
I noticed that too. I picked up on that also.
Yeah. So should we put her in better or bitter?
Better, yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. Jeremy, I think Jeremy's playing a good game as well, like a good faithful game. I mean, he's the one that has Danielle clocked right now. Not many other people have called it out. And you know what I appreciate about him is that he didn't let his issue with Tony carry on to the game. He knew Tony wasn't a traitor and he didn't vote for him. And I think that's going to make, Jeremy look pretty innocent to the rest of them.
Yeah. I agree too.
Then we got Ivor. I mean, like, Ivor is a good foil because, like, he is causing problems just by being him. I still don't really care for him, though. I am, like, rooting against him. What do y'all think?
Yeah, bitter. I don't know.
Bitter. I say bitter, but also just like I want more, but I haven't got the more that I wanted, so I'm just gonna bitter.
Agreed.
Yeah. Next is Nikki. I'm just gonna put her in bitter because I literally don't know who she is. I don't remember anything about her in these first 3 episodes.
Yeah, they barely have shown her.
She's where she
Say again?
She's where she belongs.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, she'll be one of those people that goes randomly in the middle of the night. Like, I remember there was some girl in the first season that was like that literally was just there, and then all of a sudden she was gone, and they didn't even acknowledge her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see her being one of the next faithfuls murdered.
Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah.
Then we got Rob. Listen, I'm not even that big a fan of Boston Rob, but I'll give him credit. He's doing his thing. Like, he's doing a good job.
Yeah, I think what he said right after Tony called him a sellout kind of helped him a little bit. Like, how he stood there. And so, yeah, I would agree with that. Like, he came in with a huge target on his back, and he's kind of playing his cards well.
Yeah. I'd put him in.
I believe he's going to go far, too.
Yeah. Like, he's going to be one of the last I think the only traitor that is definitely going to outlast him is probably going to be Carolyn, but I think he's got a good chance of outlasting Bob and Danielle.
Same. I agree.
Robin Dixon, I got to put her in better. Like, she did a good job of fighting off of that banishment. And then the next banishment, she wasn't even really a target. Like, that was pretty impressive.
She is shocking me. Like I said, the difference between Potomac and this, she's playing a really good game.
100%. I agree.
She's fighting for that spot on Potomac right now. She's fighting. I think that's the real goal for her, not the 250.
He's like hoping Andy Cohen watches this season of the Traitors. Like,
well, he definitely is because he's gonna host the reunion. So
yeah, that's true.
Do y'all remember that they put a picture of Andy up in that house now?
Yeah,
no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they did. Like, there's a painting of him in the house now, which I thought was really.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yeah. Then we've got what's his name? Is this Sam? Yeah, like
bitter.
He didn't really add anything. Also fuck him, but I mean, even besides fuck him, like he didn't add anything.
Yeah.
Tom, I gotta say, I don't think Tom's playing like the best game, but Tom is kind of entertaining.
He is. He is, and I'm somebody who hates him because I watch Vanderpump and I love Ariana Madix and I hate her and all that stuff. But I think he's entertaining for sure. Like, I want him to stick around over Nikki Bella, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What do you think, Morgan?
He's doing it for me, but he's also not doing it for me. I think what's doing it for me is him and Chriselle.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So yes and no for him. Like I'm really stuck in between, but I want him to shine. And I want to see how he like turns, like how he like goes further in the game.
Yeah.
I would vote for him to be better, but I wouldn't be against putting him in bitter. Like, where are
Same.
y'all leaning?
No, I agree with that. Like I think we're all kind of in the middle. We can go either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see him being a traitor later down the line too.
I'll put him in better just because, you know what, he's giving something to the show. Like, he is earning that paycheck. So I'll give him better for now. I can accept the fact that he's someone that I'm just gonna like love to hate on the show. You know, I can accept that.
Trust me, when people start pointing fingers at him, he's gonna be really entertaining to watch. So
Oh, I believe it for sure.
Yeah.
So then we got Tony. What do we think of Tony's run on Traitors this season?
He was better, but then he became bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just how he went out, I think.
I agree with that.
Better. Yeah.
Yeah, it just was not the way that a two-time winner should go out, you know?
It gave
Say again, Morgan?
it gave sore loser. Like I'm
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And then Tom Wells, I mean, like, who? Bitter. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I will give this cast credit. Thus far, like more than half of them are well, Derek and Wes aren't on here because I guess this tier list didn't put them in there. So I mean, where would we put Derek?
Bitter. Just he
I
hasn't
agree.
done much. Yeah.
I agree with that. I think he's gonna be wallpaper just like on his season, but yeah. And then what do we think about Wes?
Yeah, I think I would do this, put him in better for the same reasons we did Tom. Like he hasn't
Yeah.
done much yet, but the entertainment value, you could see it there, and there's definitely potential.
Yeah.
All right. So overall, we had 12 in better, and then we had 11 in bitter. So it's like a 50-50 split, but that means like overall, this cast is doing a pretty good job. So I'm excited. What do we think is going to happen? Episode? Who do we think is going to be in the coffin?
I don't know. Do you think they'll end up putting one of the traitors in the coffin, or no?
I don't think so.
I don't think one of them would have felt comfortable in there.
I think that they would have wanted to put Carolyn in there, but she's not comfortable, and Rob's going to back her up. So I don't think any of them are going to go in there.
Yeah, I agree.
But I have no idea who they're going to do.
I know. I'm curious.
They will split up. They will split up the Bambies, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know if they've caught on to that yet.
Yeah, that's a thing. You think they would do that already?
If they know that they're an alliance, they'll do it. Like maybe they'll put what's her name in there, Gabby, because Gabby caught them as they were walking out. But also they actually know they didn't know that she caught her because they had to write it on the scroll first. So I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know which way they're gonna go for this. I would imagine they're not gonna do a housewife again because if they do, that's fucking crazy.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
If I could pick, I would love to see Nikki on there. I would love to see Sam on there, and I would love to see who else is boring. I don't really. Put like Dolores on there. I would just love to see the boring people on there and send like Nikki or send Sam home. Just send one of them home. We don't need them here.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I would love to see Chriselle. Chriselle, I can see two of those Bambies, Chriselle, Nikki, and like just for chaos, Jeremy. Like just throw in chaos.
Yeah, that would be good. Put him on the fire. It would be good if they picked a target and then they picked two people they definitely don't want to kill, and they just want to make scared. Do we think that the traitors are going to win this season, or do we think the faithfuls will pull it out?
Honestly, Carolyn is the only. It also depends on who they end up recruiting. I don't know, but like this does seem like a strong cast of faithfuls. Like they keep Dylan around and Robin, and I don't know, these people who aren't afraid to call these people out. But then at the same time, I don't know. I could see Carolyn going for it as well.
It just really depends, because I'm starting to think that Bob has too good of a social game to get eliminated, despite how messy he's being. I think the only way Bob's going to go is if his shields stay in the game, like the Housewives and the Bambis. But if they start getting knocked out, then I could see the gamers getting Bob out.
Yeah.
But I think the only one that no one is going to turn on is going to be Carolyn. I think the rest of them all could easily be, caught.
Yeah, I agree. But also I can see in a wicked, twisted mind that Dylan becomes a traitor.
Ooh, like maybe he accepts it when what Pilot Pete did in last time.
That's so true, because he's so onto them. He'll be so onto them that they want to recruit him, type of thing. Yeah, that's.
And you really should. If you're a traitor, you should try to recruit someone that is onto you.
Yeah, and who do you guys think, if a traitor goes soon, will be the first? Do you think it'll be Danielle?
I think as of right now, Danielle is the most likely. But I mean, literally anything could change. They could decide Boston Rob is likely to be a traitor. I mean, Bob's name kind of got thrown out there out of nowhere this last episode.
That's true.
I think the only one that's absolutely safe is Carolyn. I think Carolyn's in absolutely no danger.
I know. Unless they turn on her, which I don't think that they wouldn't do. Like, they seem like she's the most expendable one to them. Like, I don't think Bob would turn on Danielle at all.
No.
So, I don't know. It'll be fun to watch, though.
On the next episode of Traitors, this is what happens.
Yes. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up there. I want to thank Sophie, Morgan, and Edgar all for joining me for this episode of the Traitors recap. If you enjoyed our recap, you can tune in with us next week when we talk about episode 4 of the Traitors. Also, you can leave a comment if there's a topic that you want us to discuss. And follow me on @SlightlyBitta on Instagram and Twitter. I'm not going to call it X. So you can know when we're going to go live next, because if you're in the live chat with us, then we can interact with you and we can answer your questions live. Before I wrap up, Sophie, Morgan, do you guys have anything that you want to plug?
Honestly, I'm good. I don't know about you, Morgan.
This was so much fun. Like, I can't wait to next week. I can't wait to see what happens and what we're going to unpack.
I know.
This was a lot of fun, and I'm excited as well. So I guess thank you all so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends, and join the Bitter Brigade. And until next time, stay followed, stay tuned, but most importantly, stay bitter. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.